Hare Krishna. Today we will be reading from the Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta, continuing with the introduction. We have finished almost half of it and we will do the other half today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So welcome back to this reading of Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta. We have read the preface and that was in the first episode. In the second episode we have done half of the introduction. So today we will continue with the other half. So, alright, we will just go through this because this is actually the explanation of the first chapter. We have been continuing already. Anyway, we will just do it. After offering respects to Lord Chaitanya, Krishnadas Kaviraj begins to offer them to Lord Nityananda in the 7th verse of the Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Let's go to the 7th verse. Sankarshana Karanato Yashayi Garbhodashayi Chapayobdhishayi Sheshascha Yasyam Shakalah Sanitya Nandakhya Ramah Sharanam Mamastu. May Sri Nityanandaram be the object of my constant remembrance. Sankarshan, Sheshanag and the Vishnus who lie on the Karana ocean, Garbha ocean and the ocean of milk are his plenary portions and the portions of his plenary portions. So he is establishing the position of Nityananda Prabhu. He is also called Nityanandaram because he is actually the incarnation of Balaram. The author explains that Lord Nityananda is Balaram, who is the origin of Mahavishnu. Krishna's first expansion is Balaram, a portion of whom is manifested as Sankarshan, who then expands as Pradyumna. In this way, so many expansions take place. Although there are many expansions, Lord Sri Krishna is the origin, as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. He is like the original candle from which many thousands and millions of candles are lit. Although any number of candles can be lit, the original candle still retains its identity as the origin. In this way, Krishna expands himself into so many forms, and all these expansions are called Vishnu Tattva. Vishnu is a large light, and we are all small lights, but all are expansions of Krishna. So, this is actually the translation of a Brahma Samhita verse. I think many of you already know it. It's 546, I think. दीपार्चिरेव हि दशान्तरमभ्युपेत्य दीपायते विवृतहेतु समानधर्मा यस्तादृगेव हि च विष्णुतया विभाति गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. So the light of one candle being communicated to other candles, although it burns separately in them, is the same in its quality. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, who exhibits himself equally in the same mobile manner in his various manifestations. So this is actually explaining how Krishna is the origin of all the Vishnu Tattvas, and of course of everything else, everybody else, but especially of the Vishnu Tattvas, the Vishnu and everybody, all the Narayan forms, everything put together. Krishna is the origin. And the example is given here that a candle, if with that candle, if we light so many other candles, all of the candles may have the same burning power, but the original candle still retains its identity as the origin. So that's what is being explained in that purport there. When it is necessary to create the material universes, Vishnu expands himself as Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu lies down in the causal ocean. Causal ocean means the ocean which is the cause of the material world. Sometimes people read this as the casual ocean. You're not careful about the spelling. It's not casual ocean. It's causal ocean. Because it's the cause of the material universes. In this ocean, the Mahavishnu lies down, and from his breathing, many universes are coming out. This is explained in the Brahma Samhita. So this is how creation is made. Creation happened like this. Not some big bang happened and then an explosion and then everything went chaos. No. This is the causal ocean. There's an ocean where Mahavishnu lies down, and from his breathing the universes come out. So this is real explanation, scientific explanation of how the whole material manifestation came into existence. So we are studying science sitting in one place without all the telescopes and microscopes, we are and without some stupid theories, we're just sitting in one place studying Krishna's books, at the same time having full knowledge of everything material, whether it be chemistry, whether it be astronomy, whether it be biology, whether it be physics, whether it be politics, whether it be art, anything is already explained in the Vedas, our books. So we just need to study these properly, and all knowledge will be available to us. Mahavishnu lies down in the causal ocean and breathes all the universes from his nostrils. Thus, from Mahavishnu and the causal ocean spring all the universes, and all these universes, including ours, float in the causal ocean. Another interesting thing is, when I was a secondary school student, at that time I was already interested in astronomy and science and Albert Einstein and theory of relativity, like that. So there was this article in the newspaper. I still remember I was 14 years old. Yeah. So at that time there was this article in the newspaper that some scientists have come up with a mathematical model of and in their whole so-called speculation or discovery or whatever, they started to believe that there is a possibility of multiverse. They call it the multiverse. Multiverse means other universes may be existing. This is not the only universe, probably. They were speculating like this. This might not be the only universe. There can be multiverse. So it was a big thought for them. But for us, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said this this universe is like one mustard seed in a bag of mustard seeds. Like millions and trillions and innumerable universes are there. So for us, it's no surprise anymore. It's everything is already explained to us by Krishna. So we don't have to, because as human beings, we have this tendency to explore, to know. So that thirst for knowledge is satisfied to an extent in the Vedas itself. In fact, we can know far more from the Vedas than by experimental knowledge. So Sunita Sharma Mataji is asking, can you further explain what plenary portion and plenary portion of the plenary portion means? Okay. So if we basically it's expansion. One second. Let's look at the no, not here. We will go here. Wait. I'm just trying to find the word plenary so that we can take out the dictionary meaning of it. But I thought we just read it. Okay, you know what? Let's go to the actual word. Plenary. Okay. Okay, here is plenary. Now, if you go to the dictionary meaning, plenary means unconditional, which is not exactly the meaning here. Full is another meaning. Full, unqualified, absolute. Full and absolute. So plenary portion means, as you can see, although it is said portion, here is plenary expansion. Plenary expansion means they're absolute and they're full. It is not like they are less than the original. So plenary portion, although it is said portion, but it's not like a like a reduced portion of it. It's plenary portion or plenary expansion. So like that. So it is there is no difference between Krishna and say Narasimha. All are Vishnu Tattva, but still Krishna is the origin, and still there are some pastimes which Krishna exhibits which other incarnations don't exhibit, other expansions don't exhibit. You see, like for example childhood pastimes, only Krishna exhibited. Even in Ramachandra Bhagavan life, the childhood pastimes are not as expanded as Krishna. Very brief mention is there for about Ramachandra's childhood pastimes. But Krishna's childhood pastimes are very extensive and full of so many mellows, especially the Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Vatsalya are brought to the fore in his childhood pastimes, and in his youth the Madhurya pastimes are revealed. So these are unique to Krishna, and therefore Krishna is the origin of everybody, because he has qualities which even Narayan does not have. So, but at the same time, Narayan is not something less than Krishna in power. So it's the same power, but at the same time, Krishna is the origin of all of them. So that's a plenary expansion. So portion of a plenary portion. So Vishnu, when we say like Mahavishnu is a portion of a plenary portion, this is called Kala Vishesha. Kala means Amsha means plenary portion. Kala means portion of a portion or expansion of an expansion. So from Krishna, first expansion is Balaram, and from Balaram, the Chaturvyuha, which is Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, they are all Chaturbhuj, four-handed forms. And from Sankarshan, there is expansion again. Yeah, Bhaktivirendra says Swamsha. So these technical words are used: Swamsha, Vibhinnamsha. Vibhinnamsha we are, and Swamsha also there are so many categories. Swayam Prakash. What is that? The other one? Swayam Prakash. Swayam. The other day we were actually going through the whole technical words and all the different meanings of the different kinds of expansions. So anyway, from Sankarshan there is Adi Narayan, and then there's another quadruple expansion, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and from that Sankarshan comes Mahavishnu. So it's like from one expansion, and then from there's more expansions, and then the more expansions, more expansions. So in this way, it is called as portion of plenary portion. So in this way, the Lord expands into innumerable forms. Anantarupam, Advaitam Achyutam Anadim, Anantarupam. So coming back here, thus from Mahavishnu and the causal ocean spring all the universes, and all these universes, including ours, float in the causal ocean. In this regard, there is the story of Vamana, who, when he took 3 steps, stuck his foot through the covering of this universe. Water from the causal ocean flowed through the hole that his foot made, and it is said that that water became the river Ganges or Ganga. Therefore, the Ganges is accepted as the most sacred water of Vishnu and is worshipped by all Hindus from the Himalayas down to the Bay of Bengal. So, the Ganga river, in fact, this river flows through all the planetary systems of the universe. So, in the heavenly planets, it is known as Mandakini, and in here it is known as Ganga, and in the what is that, hellish planets or planets below here, there is called Bhogavati. So in this way, different names are there, but it's the same river. The water is flowing. Now you may say, no, the Ganga has, there's some glaciers there in the Himalayas. From there, it is flowing. Yeah, actually, it is said that the Ganga from the heavenly planets, the Mandakini river, from there the water is taken. Not even Mandakini. Maybe I'm getting the name wrong. So from the heavenly planets, they are carried in these huge water pots and they are brought down, and we can't even see these things, with our human eyes. So, and they're transported to this planet Earth in huge airplanes, tanker airplanes. So we can't even see this. This is very subtle, but that's how in the Himalayas, the Gangotri, that's where it starts. And in this way, from planet to planet, although the Ganga river goes to the Bay of Bengal, somehow or other, the Ganga river again goes to the lower planetary systems as well. It flows down. It's taken by invisible carriers, So these are all mentioned. Water from the causal ocean flowed through the hole that his foot made, and it is said that water became the river Ganges. Therefore, Ganges is accepted, as most sacred water. Mahavishnu is actually an expansion of Balaram, who is Krishna's first expansion, and in the Vrindavan pastimes, his brother. In the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, the word Rama refers to Balaram. Since Lord Nityananda is Balaram, Ram also refers to Lord Nityananda. Thus, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama addresses not only Krishna and Balaram, but Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda as well. So sometimes some people argue, this Rama means actually Ramachandra, Bhagavan. No difference. Again, Balaram or Ramachandra, there is no difference. So when Prabhupada was asked this question, he said there is no difference between Balaram and Ramachandra also. But Balaram is the first expansion from Krishna. And Nityananda Ram, therefore Nityananda Ram, actually you will see the next verse onwards. Tam Nityananda Ramam Prapadye. Tam Shri Nityananda Ramam Prapadye. We will see a few verses with that ending line. So in this way, Nityananda is called Nityananda Ram because he is also Balaram. So Hare Krishna and Hare Rama refers to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu also, along with Krishna and Balaram. The subject matter of the Caitanya-caritāmṛta primarily deals with what is beyond this material creation. Just look at that. The subject matter of the Caitanya-caritāmṛta primarily deals with what is beyond this material creation. I mean, the extent of this material creation already is not known to the scientists. And Caitanya-caritāmṛta is dealing with something which is beyond this material nature. How advanced is this? what we are discussing here is no ordinary book. How much fortunate we are to actually discuss this most sublime knowledge, which is very, very rarely understood by anyone. The cosmic material expansion is called Maya, illusion, because it has no eternal existence. Because it is sometimes manifested and sometimes not, it is regarded as illusory, because there is no permanence here. But beyond this temporary manifestation is a higher nature, as indicated in the Bhagavad Gita 8.20. Parastasmat tu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yah sa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. Yet there is another unmanifested nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. So there is a question by Sunita Mataji, who's asking, does the universe come from the mouth of Mahavishnu, or from the breath of Mahavishnu, or from the pores of Mahavishnu, or from all three? Well, he can do the function of each of his senses with every other sense. Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti. He can breathe through his skin. Actually, in that verse, here Prabhupada said nostrils, but even his other, let's see the Brahma Samhita 5.47, there's no difference between his nostrils and his feet. That's another thing. So there is nothing wrong in saying it's coming from his nostrils, or from his mouth, or from his eyes, or from his skin, or you see, from the pores of his hair, reposing in the causal ocean with the infinity of the world, from the pores of his hair enjoys creative sleep, yoga nidra. So here it is said from the actually Roma Vilaja, Roma Kupaha. Roma, like we chant in the Mangalarti song, Romanchakam Pashru Taranga Bhajo Vande Guru Shri Charana Ravindam. Romanch means the hairs standing on end. Roma Kupaha means the pores on the body. So here it is said Roma Kupaha, Jagadanda Roma Kupaha, from the pores of his body, the whole body. And Prabhupada just in this Caitanya-caritāmṛta, he said that in the introduction, nostrils, nothing wrong, all from everywhere. So basically, beyond this temporary manifestation is a higher nature, as indicated in Bhagavad Gita. So in the Bhagavad Gita, there is an indication of another place, that is this 8.20, Parastasmatu Bhavanya. Whereas Caitanya-caritāmṛta deals with that subject. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. The material world has a manifested state, Vyakta, and a potential unmanifested state, Avyakta. The supreme nature is beyond both the manifested and the unmanifested material nature. This superior nature can be understood as the living force, which is present in the bodies of all living creatures. The body itself is composed of inferior nature, matter, but it is the superior nature that is moving the body, that is the spirit soul. The symptom of that superior nature is consciousness. Thus, in the spiritual world, where everything is composed of the superior nature, everything is conscious. In the material world, there are inanimate objects that are not conscious, but in the spiritual world, nothing is inanimate. There, a table is conscious, the land is conscious, the trees are conscious, everything is conscious. It's a very different thing in the spiritual world. Here, a table is not he does not have any feelings, but in the spiritual world, the table has feelings, and the table can talk. It's completely conscious. So like that. Then it is not possible to imagine how far this material manifestation extends. In the material world, everything is calculated by imagination or by some imperfect method. This is true. Even the big scientists, whatever they say is just their imagination, figment of their imagination. Like the Big Bang. Where do they have proof that did they see the Big Bang? Why are they putting it in the science textbooks? It's actually stupid for them to do so, but they present it as science, what is actually their imagination. Whereas here we are taking knowledge from God, Krishna, and his authorized devotees, and this is rejected as, oh, this is some faith. They have faith in their own theories, which they cannot prove by any observance and experimentation, nothing. They cannot do anything, and they say we are just people of faith. We are not scientific. Who's speaking what? We are actually dealing with science here, full science. Therefore, we can challenge all these scientists. And Prabhupada actually wanted, he was of this mood that we have to challenge the scientific community and establish Krishna consciousness as the greatest science. And even in the material spheres, he wanted that even in the case of life comes from life. Life is not a product of chemicals. So he wanted these things to be proved to the scientists and make the scientific community accept these truths. Because if they do, we have a breakthrough. Because the soul, the starting of spiritual knowledge will actually be imparted if the scientific community accepts. It's very difficult because they are not so easily, they don't easily believe the words of God, being atheistic, but we should make all our attempts. So the devotees are always very merciful. Even though the person is an atheist, somehow or other they will try to devise a means in which he can be somehow or other connected with Krishna. This is the mood of a devotee, especially of a preacher. So it is not possible to imagine how far this material manifestation extends. In the material world, everything is calculated by imagination or some imperfect method. But the Vedic literatures give real information of what lies beyond the material universe. Since it is not possible to obtain information of anything beyond this material nature by experimental means, those who believe only in experimental knowledge may doubt the Vedic conclusions. For such people cannot even calculate how far this universe extends, nor can they reach far into the universe itself. That which is beyond our power of conception is called achintya, inconceivable. It is useless to argue or speculate about the inconceivable. If something is truly inconceivable, it is not subject to speculation or experimentation. Yes, so if something is inconceivable, God is inconceivable, Krishna is inconceivable. That is the axiomatic truth. We cannot, how is he inconceivable? If that can be understood, then he is not inconceivable. This is a very fact. Inconceivable means our minds or our intelligence is inadequate to understand him fully. And therefore, it is useless debating on it, because debates are just a product of, intellectual, formulations of thought and then exchange of them. So intelligence it's a material ingredient. Intelligence is a material ingredient. Of the 8 material ingredients, intelligence is one. So how can the Supreme Lord be grasped? Atah Sri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahyam indriyaihi. He is never to be, he is spiritual, he is above, he is beyond this. So how can he be captured by material intelligence? So therefore debating and trying to understand him through logic is a futile attempt. The real way to understand him is to accept what he says. Therefore, to ensure the sanctity and sanctity of the message, that how can we be so sure that what we are reading from Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam is right? So therefore, Krishna also gave us the channel, the parampara system. There are news channels, sometimes there are fake news channels. On YouTube, sometimes they have some fake news or other social media. So that kind of channels we have to stay away from. There is a proper authorized channel. You get your news from there. So similarly, in the spiritual aspect as well about Krishna, evam parampara praptam. Krishna has given us the channel, the authorized channel, the Vaishnava Parampara, and it has to be an unbroken Parampara system. See? So that's how this is understood, spiritual knowledge. By the descending process, Avaroha Pantha. They are trying to learn everything through Aroha Pantha, ascending process. That means they are trying to get some knowledge and then slowly increase their knowledge. But we are not depending on our senses to acquire knowledge and increase them. No. That's a very imperfect way of getting knowledge, and we can never be having complete knowledge. But when we accept the descending process of knowledge, that means from Krishna we are accepting the knowledge, then that is perfect. Because he is saying it and we just accept it. So sitting in one place, just by opening these books, we can know the entire knowledge of everything. That's why it is said, Bhagavad Gita 15, chapter 19th verse. Yo mam evam asammudho janati purushottamam sa sarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhavena bharata. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. So here, whoever knows Krishna knows everything, because he takes knowledge from Krishna. Sarvameta dhritam manye yanmam madasi keshava. As Arjuna said, I accept totally as truth, whatever you say. So in that way, that's it. We know everything that we need to know. And then, most importantly, with that knowledge, we are not becoming puffed up like what the scientists are becoming. In fact, it only leads us to Krishna and increase our faith and understanding and devotion to Krishna only. So this is what needs to be done. Proper knowledge should be, education system should be based on this. We can have science, we can have social studies, we can have history, we can have geography. Geography not only of this planet, but of the whole universe. We have information of geography of many planets in this universe. In the 5th canto, you can see Srimad Bhagavatam. So many different atmospheres of different planets are mentioned and how much their speed and everything, astronomy we may call it. So all these are mentioned, biology, everything we can have, just like what the school is having, but from the Vedas. And in fact, the main subject matter should be linking everything to God, everything to Krishna. Because Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo, he says, I am the source of everything. You are learning the science, history and sociology and politics and this. I am the source, Krishna is saying. How can you study all these things without relating it to me? Therefore, Riteartham yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tadvidyad atmano mayam yatha bhaso yatha tamaha. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated there, 2:9:34. You see, O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, Krishna is Lord Vishnu is speaking, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. So if you think that there is something, it has no relation with me, that is an illusory understanding. Everything has a relation to Krishna. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. I am the source of everything, Krishna is saying. So, if he is the source, then everything is related to him. So, this education system is holistic education system, and it actually is connected with the aim of life. We are not distracted, whereas the whole modern education system is distracting people from the aim of life and studying things as if they are not connected to God. In fact, to mention the name of God, it is thrown out of the education system. It is just as an optional private thing. If you want to practice, you practice, otherwise you don't. Whatever it is, you keep it to yourself. That kind of attitude nowadays towards God. So that's not going to help anybody. That's why the world is just becoming a more and more chaotic place, and people don't have answers. Like, for example, recently there was this Black Lives Matter movement because of the death of George Floyd in America, and people do not know how to even address the issue, where to even start. Oh, there's some discrimination, yes, and then the white supremacy, and white people don't understand what the black people are going through. And some white people, they're saying, yes, we should be educated about this, we should really understand, walk in their shoes and try to understand what they're going through. We can never really understand because we never faced it. So they're trying to understand this disparity, but they're not coming to a concrete conclusion. But we have it. We have it. And Srila Prabhupada showed how the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, people from all backgrounds, they have joined the Krishna Consciousness movement everywhere. So this is the only platform which can unite everybody on an equal level, because we are all souls. Still, of course, we have duties as man and woman, like that. But at the same time, the whole thing is unifying. This Varnashram system, it is based on Varnashram system. It's not based on any race and something like that. It's just the proper societal structure. And that is also for working together in cooperation, in coordination, not in competition. So nowadays the Western idea is that everybody should be equal, means everybody do the same thing. That is not proper. It's a very faulty idea they have. So the way everybody can be made equal is when we Pandita Samadarshana, when we understand the soul. That's when everything can be seen equally. Otherwise we will fail in this attempt. So we have already the answers. It's just that we have to amplify our message. We have to reach out there and make ourselves heard by these people. It will be controversial, and it will be, oh, what is this? But it actually has the answers. This is not some, we are discussing Hinduism here or some Indian philosophy. No. This is a philosophy this is facts. These are facts. These are not just theories or formulations in the mind. Nothing like that. These are facts. Because they are given by Krishna, the creator of everything. So Achintya means that which cannot be conceived with our senses, with our mind, with our intelligence. So no point arguing about it, no point debating about it. Just accept what Krishna says. But what Krishna says, not just any loafer on the street. Krishna or his authorized representative in the parampara system, the Guru, authorized spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master, as Prabhupada said. So that which is beyond our power of conception is called Achintya. It is useless to argue or speculate about the inconceivable. If something is truly inconceivable, it is not subject to speculation or experimentation, by definition. Our energy is limited and our sense perception is limited. Therefore, we must rely on the Vedic conclusions regarding that subject matter which is inconceivable. Knowledge of the superior nature must simply be accepted without argument. How is it possible to argue about something to which we have no access? The method for understanding transcendental subject matter is given by Lord Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna tells Arjuna at the beginning of the 4th chapter, Imam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham avyayam vivasvan manave praham manurikshvakave bravit. I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god, Vivasvan. And Vivasvan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind. And Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. 4.1 of Bhagavad Gita. This is the method of parampara or disciplic succession. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam explains that Krishna imparted knowledge into the heart of Brahma. This is in the very first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. He imparted this knowledge to the heart of Brahma, the first created being within the universe. Brahma imparted those lessons to his disciple Narada, and Narada imparted that knowledge to his disciple Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva imparted it to Madhvacharya, and from Madhvacharya the knowledge came down to Madhavendra Puri and then to Ishwar Puri, and from him to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One may ask that if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, then why did he need a spiritual master? Of course, he did not need a spiritual master, but because he was playing the role of Acharya, one who teaches by example, he accepted a spiritual master. Even Krishna himself accepted a spiritual master, for that is the system. In this way, the Lord sets the example for men. We should not think, however, that the Lord takes a spiritual master because he is in want of knowledge. He is simply stressing the importance of accepting the disciplic succession. The knowledge of that disciplic succession actually comes from the Lord himself, and if the knowledge descends unbroken, it is perfect. This is an important thing. If the knowledge descends unbroken, it is perfect. So now Prabhupada's books are there unbroken. The knowledge is still there. What knowledge was there when Prabhupada was physically around is still available now. And it's nothing difficult to understand. So, the succession is still current because Prabhupada's books are still disseminating the knowledge. It is perfect. Although we may not be in touch with the original personality who first imparted the knowledge, we may receive the same knowledge through this process of transmission. Another important point, even reinforcing. Although we may not be in touch with the original personality who first imparted the knowledge, we may receive the same knowledge through this process of transmission. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that Krishna, the Absolute Truth, the personality of Godhead, transmitted transcendental knowledge into the heart of Brahma. This then is one way knowledge is received, through the heart. Thus, there are two processes by which one may receive knowledge. One depends directly upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated as a supersoul within the heart of all living entities, and the other depends upon the Guru or spiritual master, who is an expansion of Krishna. Thus, Krishna transmits information both from within and from without. We simply have to receive it. If knowledge is received in this way, it doesn't matter whether it is inconceivable or not. Very important thing, points made here in this paragraph. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a great deal of information given about the Vaikuntha planetary systems, which are beyond the material universe. Similarly, a great deal of inconceivable information is given in the Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Any attempt to arrive at this information through experimental knowledge will fail. The knowledge simply has to be accepted. According to the Vedic method, Shabda or transcendental sound is regarded as evidence. So there are many evidences. Pratyaksha, Anumana, Aitihya, and Shabda Brahma. So these are methods. Pratyaksha means like seeing is believing. By seeing, we accept it as proof. See it to believe it, they say. But actually our vision, our eyes are very imperfect. We can only see under very, very minute circumstances. Many things we cannot see. Only under certain circumstances we can see. If the light is off, we cannot see. If our own eyelids we cannot see, something that is so near to us, the nearest thing to the eye we cannot see. The farthest thing we cannot see. Where is the end of the universe we cannot see. And too big we cannot see. Too small we cannot see. And ultraviolet we cannot see. Infrared we cannot see. What we can see? If it's too hot we cannot see. We cannot even live. If we go closer to the sun planet, we will burn. Forget about seeing. If too cold we cannot live. So, see, this pratyaksha method of receiving knowledge, that is very futile. And even when we see it defectively. Like the sun is so big, but we see it as a small spot in the sky. Only through textbooks of science do we understand, that is actually many millions of times the size of the earth. But our eyes don't say that. Our eyes don't convey that same knowledge. When we see the sun, it looks like a small spot only. And like the spoon half bent, when it is half dipped in water, it looks bent. But it is not. It is what our eyes are telling, our eyes are showing us, but that's not a fact. See? So we cannot really depend on our senses and say that, you show me God, I will believe it. We don't have the eyes to see God. So therefore, that is not a very reliable source of information, reliable, verifiable source. The other way is anumana or inference. Like, for example, somebody maybe is talking on the other side of the door, and somebody is there in that room. So I have not seen him. Maybe I recognize the voice. Okay, it is that such and such person. That means I am coming to the conclusion by anumana. I have not seen it. None of my five senses have perceived that. Okay, the ears, yes, it did. So there is some perception, and then I interpreted it in my mind, and then correlated the information from past experience. Okay, his voice voice recognition pattern that nowadays smartphones are trying to imitate. So we have these voice recognition patterns, and then that's that person. So this is anumana, but then it also depends partially on our experience, right? But if we change some conditions, that things also may change. For example, I don't know if you have done this experiment. When you inhale some helium in your mouth, those helium balloons. Of course, it's said that it's not so good for the health. But if you inhale, if you put that balloon and then open the thing and take in some of the helium in, and then try to talk, it will be, the pitch is so much higher. A man's voice will be like a woman's voice, and a woman's voice will go even higher pitch. It doesn't sound anything like our original voice. So under different conditions, it will manifest differently. So again, that's why we are called conditioned souls. We are under these limited conditions, and we are functioning, our bodies are functioning in these conditions only. If the condition is taken out, if some other condition is input, then it's not the same experience. Therefore, when scientists go to other planets, there's no life on Mars, there's no life on Moon, there's no life on Sun. This is all rascal conclusions, because they expect life to be on the other planets just as they would find it on this planet. That's their defect. If they don't see life as they find on this planet, they conclude that there's no more life. But it's not a fact. Moon and Sun are such elevated heavenly planets that the standard of life there is so much higher than here. That's what we understand. You see? So, therefore, we have to receive our knowledge from Krishna. That's the best. So, we have actually gone through Pratyaksha, Anumana, Aitihya. Aitihya means historical evidence. For example, I would say now is rainy season. After this, there will be winter. Now, if somebody doesn't know, then he will say, "Wow, you're such an astrologer. How did you predict that?" And when actually winter happens, "Hey, you know what? You were right. It is actually winter now. How did you know? How did you know?" It is just Aitihya, historical. I mean, every year it's happening. It's just a pattern. There's nothing, miraculous about it. It's just Aitihya. So history repeats itself, as it said. The time moves in. That's why it's called Kala-cakra. It's a very, very deliberate word that is used, Kala-cakra. Why it is called Kala-cakra? Kala means time, Chakra means wheel. Why is it called the wheel of time? Because the wheel has two motions. One is cyclic and one is linear. The wheel moves from here to here. But actually, while moving here to here, it is moving in cycles also, just like the wheel of a vehicle. So it makes the car move linearly. The car is not going in cycles, otherwise you'll have a roller coaster ride. No. So the car is moving linear, but the wheels are going cyclic. So time always moves forward, but at the same time it has these cyclic effects, and we see repeated occurrences of seasons, of months. Like after December, there will be January. It's not a big prediction, it's just the cyclic process. If you know the pattern, we can say this. So, Trikalagnya, how some sages are Trikalagnya? Because they know the patterns of how things work. They know bigger patterns. We know only smaller patterns. Like, say now, what is the time here in Singapore? 8:20. I can say safely that 10 hours from now, the sun will be up in the sky. Wow, nothing great, because it's always happening every day. So it's a cyclic process. So there are small cycles and smaller cycles, bigger cycles, bigger cycles, bigger cycles, and big cycles. You understand? Like, for example, the clock, there's the second hand, the seconds hand. Every 1 minute it makes one cycle. That's the fastest cycle. Then there is the minutes hand, which makes one cycle in 1 hour. Then there's the hours hand, which makes one cycle in 1 day. So there are these Kala Chakra. It's not just moving it has these smaller circles and bigger circles and bigger circles, concentric circles. At the same time, it's moving forward. The time always goes forward, linearly, at the same rate, undisturbed by any condition. Nothing can stop the force of time. At the same time, it's having these cyclic effects. But it's not that the time is repeating, like the wheel is not just going at the same. Although the wheel is moving in a cyclic way, suppose in the wheel you make a mark here. Now, when it moves and when the mark touches again the ground, it's different on the ground. See, so linearly there is a movement. So it's not just moving here only; it's moving like that. So that's what I'm saying. So it is different, bigger cyclic movements. So we know to an extent of one day, maybe 1 month. After 1 month, again the date resets to 1, like 29, 30 or 31 and then 1. So after every month there is a cycle, and then there's after every year there is a cycle, or even between the years there is in lesser than a year is like a seasons, like summer season and winter season and rainy season, whatever. So these seasons are there. So these are some of the cycles we see, we notice. And then we have decades, we have centuries, we have millennia. To an extent we can understand. But then there are even bigger cycles, like the yugas, the 4 yugas, 4.32 million years. That's one cycle of the 4 yugas. And then there are 1000 cycle of the 4 yugas makes 1 day of Brahma. And then similarly is the 1 night of Brahma. And within this 1 day there are again smaller cycles of Manvantara avatars. So if you see, there are so many cycles here. So that's why it's called Kala Chakra. It has 2 movements, cyclic and linear. Anyway, we've gone a big tangent there. But coming back to the point, in Srimad Bhagavatam there is a great deal of information given about the Vaikuntha planetary systems which are beyond the material universe. Similarly, a great deal of inconceivable information given in the Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Any attempt to arrive at this information through experimental knowledge will fail. The knowledge simply has to be accepted. According to the Vedic method, Shabda or transcendental sound is regarded as evidence. That's the 4th. Aiti here is the historical evidence, but then Shabda means not just ordinary sound, Shabda Brahma, spiritual sound. That means, as we know, Shabda Brahma is Vedo Narayana Sakshat. What is that? Dharmam tu Sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. That sound coming from Krishna, that is Shabda Brahma. So that is an evidence, and that is the most powerful evidence, because that is always going to be true. The other things can have some distortions, but this will never have a distortion. According to Vedic method, Shabda or transcendental sound is regarded as evidence. Sound is very important in Vedic understanding, for if it is pure, it is accepted as authoritative. Even in the material world, we accept a great deal of information sent thousands of miles by telephone or radio. In this way, we also accept sound as evidence in our daily lives. Although we cannot see the informant, we accept his information as valid on the basis of sound. Sound vibration, then, is very important in the transmission of Vedic knowledge. The Vedas inform us that beyond this cosmic manifestation, there are extensive planets in the spiritual sky. This material manifestation is regarded as only a small portion of the total creation. The material manifestation includes not only this universe but innumerable others as well, but all the material universes combined constitute only 1/4 of the total creation. The remaining 3/4 is situated in the spiritual sky. In that sky, innumerable planets float, and these are called Vaikuntha Lokas. In every Vaikuntha Loka, Narayana presides with his 4 expansions, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha and Vasudev. This Sankarshan states Krishnadas Kaviraj in the 8th verse of the Caitanya-caritāmṛta is Lord Nityananda. So let's go to the 8th verse. We have read the 7th verse. Go to the 8th verse. मायातीते व्यापि वैकुण्ठलोके पूर्णैश्वर्ये श्रीचतुर्व्यूहमध्ये रूपं यस्योद्भाति संकर्षणाख्यं Tam Shri Nityananda Ramam Prapadye. I surrender unto the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, who is known as Sankarshan in the midst of the Chaturvyuha consisting of Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. He possesses full opulences and resides in Vaikuntha far beyond the material creation. So basically, what Prabhupada is explaining in the introduction is the purports to these verses, you see. As you can understand, he is expanding on this understanding of these verses here. So they're basically like purport. Here there's no purport, but in the introduction, these are kind of purports to these first few verses of Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Going back, as stated before, the material universes are manifested by the Lord in the form of Mahavishnu. Just as a husband and wife combine to beget offspring, Mahavishnu combines with his wife Maya or material nature. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 14.4, where Krishna states, Sarvayonishu kaunteya murtayah sambhavanti yah tasam brahma mahadyonir aham bija pradah pita. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. So he is a seed-giving father. Vishnu impregnates Maya, the material nature, simply by glancing at her. This is explained in the Vedas. Sa aikshata, sa asrajata. Just by seeing her, he impregnated her. So his eyes can perform the activity of his genitals. Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti. This is the spiritual method. Materially, we are limited to impregnating by only one particular part of our body, but the Supreme Lord, Krishna or Mahavishnu, can impregnate by any part. Simply by glancing, the Lord can conceive countless living entities in the womb of material nature. The Brahma Samhita confirms that the spiritual body of the Supreme Lord is so powerful that any part of his body can perform the functions of any other part. We can touch only with our hands or skin, but Krishna can touch just by glancing. We can see only with our eyes, we cannot touch or smell with them. Krishna, however, can smell and also eat with his eyes. When food is offered to Krishna, we do not see him eating, but he eats simply by glancing at the food. We cannot imagine how things work in the spiritual world, where everything is spiritual. It is not that Krishna does not eat or that we imagine that he eats. He actually eats, but his eating is different from ours. Our eating process will be similar to his when we are completely on the spiritual platform. Look at that. Our eating process will be similar to his when we are completely on the spiritual platform. That's why the spiritual master, Prabhupada, he is on the platform of Krishna, spiritual platform, and therefore his eating is also on the same platform as the Krishna's eating. So when we offer to Prabhupada, that is also prasadam. Because of course he will offer to Krishna, and then like that it is offered. On that platform, every part of the body can act on behalf of any other part. Vishnu does not require anything in order to create. He does not require the goddess Lakshmi in order to give birth to Brahma, for Brahma is born from a lotus flower that grows from the navel of Vishnu. The goddess Lakshmi sits at the feet of Vishnu and serves him. In this material world, sex is required to produce children, but in the spiritual world, a man can produce as many children as he likes without having to take help from his wife. So there is no sex there. Because we have no experience with spiritual energy, we think that Brahma's birth from the navel of Vishnu is simply a fictional story. As they say, Hindu mythology. This is not Hindu mythology. Of course, the pronunciation is also wrong. It's actually mythology. But it's not any mythology. It's not myth. Myths are just like, some fairy tales. We're not talking about fairy tales like Harry Potter and, some Lord of the Rings. No, these are factual things. They're not fiction. But because we have no experience with spiritual energy, we think that Brahma's birth from the navel of Vishnu is simply a fictional story. We are not aware that spiritual energy is so powerful that it can do anything and everything. Material energy is dependent on certain laws, but spiritual energy is fully independent. Countless universes reside like seeds within the skin pores of Mahavishnu, and when he exhales, they are all manifested. In the material world, we have no experience of such a thing, but we do experience a perverted reflection in the phenomenon of perspiration. We cannot imagine, however, the duration of one breath of Mahavishnu, for within one breath, all the universes are created and annihilated. This is the biggest cycle of time, the biggest cycle. The whole lifetime of Brahma is one exhalation, and then one inhalation, and then one exhalation. And in this way, this is also cycle. Bhutva bhutva praliyate. And when he exhales, the universes come, and when he inhales, the universes go back into him. So this is the biggest circle, chakra, in the time. This is stated in the Brahma Samhita. Lord Brahma lives only for the duration of one breath. And according to our time scale, 4,320,000,000 years constitute only 12 hours of Brahma, and Brahma lives 100 of his years. Yet the whole life of Brahma is contained within one breath of Mahavishnu. Thus, it is not possible for us to imagine the breathing power of Mahavishnu, who is but a partial manifestation of Lord Nityananda. This, the author of the Caitanya-caritāmṛta explains in the 9th verse. See how the position of because if these are all not explained, Nityananda Prabhu is just seen as like, maybe a devotee. Yeah, nobody understands. It's so bewildering, especially Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, that they came within human society as if equals with humans. And if you remember, Jagai and Madhaya, they even hurt Nityananda Prabhu, and Nityananda Prabhu blood was coming out. But who is this Nityananda Prabhu? This is the position of Nityananda Prabhu. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, before he even goes to the pastimes of the Lord in his 5 features, Panchatattva, he's actually explaining and explaining to us their real positions. Just like in the Bhagavatam, before we understand the Krishna's Ras Leela, this is like an ordinary boy and girl affair. This is good actually, what? I also want to do it. So before doing that, we have to read what is the position of Krishna, the first 9 cantos. And then, if we go to the 10th canto, that too under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, then we can have positive, conclusive understanding of Krishna's Ras Leela. It is not a cheap thing. So similarly, the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu are not cheap things. Just something happened in medieval Bengal, medieval India, in 15th century, and some saint came and no, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this the author of Caitanya-caritāmṛta explains in the 9th verse. So let's go to the 9th verse. Adilila 1:9. So try to remember, because these are all descriptions and like purports of basically these first few verses, for which there are no purports, you see, otherwise. Maya bharta janda sanghashrayangah shete sakshat karanam bodhi madhye yasyai shri pumanadi devas tam shri nityananda ramam prapadye. I offer my full obeisances under the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, whose partial representation called Karanodakashayi Vishnu, lying on the Karana ocean, is the original Purusha, the master of the illusory energy and the shelter of all the universes. Nityananda, partial representation of Nityananda Prabhu is this Karanodakashayi Vishnu. Just imagine what is Nityananda Prabhu. We Gaur Nitai, Jai Gaur Nitai, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, but just understand, although they enacted pastimes seemingly human, we cannot understand. That's why Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, in the end of Caitanya-caritāmṛta, he says, it is not possible to describe even one day's pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even if one had the Anantasesh with his thousands of hoods. He's trying to explain the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's one day's pastimes. He lived for 48 years in this world. But even one day worth of pastimes, if has to be chanted, there's no end. Anantasesh cannot come to an end to such a narration. Just imagine. one day. The most difficult to understand incarnation is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The most difficult. Because he is giving the... At the same time, by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we can understand to an extent. To an extent. And people can be liberated from this whole material cycle. Although the most sublime, he made it the most easiest. This is the special benediction. That's why Mahavadanyaya, Namo Mahavadanyaya, Krishna Prema Pradayate, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishya Namaha. Krishna, when in Bhagavad Gita, he did not give Krishna Prema. He just gave knowledge about him and asked everybody to surrender. After that only, then the actual Prema all start. Way after that. But that is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. But the summum bonum of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the Ras Leela pastimes, that gopis' love for Krishna, that highest thing, which is far beyond the reach of us conditioned souls, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is distributing free of charge. Namo Mahavadanya is so charitable, this incarnation. Krishna Prema Pradayate. Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishya Namaha. So this is the supreme benediction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we'll go back to this. In the 10th and 11th verses, Krishnadas Kaviraj describes Garbhodakashaya Vishnu and Kshirodakashaya Vishnu, successive plenary expansions of Mahavishnu. So we will go to the 10th and 11th verses now. You see the first word, remember, and then the next verse, the first word also try to remember, you see. This is the tune of Damodarashtaka. Yasyam shamshah shrela garbhodashayi yannabhyabjam loka sanghatanalam lokasrashtuh sutika dhama dhatus tam Shri Nityananda Ramam prapadye. I offer my full obeisances under the feet of Shri Nityananda Ram, a partial part of whom is Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. Mahavishnu we have read in the previous verse. Now Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, the Vishnu within each universe. From the navel of Garbhodakashaya Vishnu sprouts the lotus that is the birthplace of Brahma, the engineer of the universe. Who is studying engineering in the audience here? This is engineering degree. Brahma got the engineering degree, he engineered the universe. And he got the education from Krishna, how to engineer the universe. The stem of that lotus is the resting place of the multitude of planets. This is so important. Nalam, having a stem that is a resting place. Sanghatanalam. You know, this whole, whatever we see as the expanse of space, is within this Lokalok mountain, which is surrounding the whole planetary systems. And you know what is that Lokalok mountain actually? It is the stem. We are within that stem of that lotus on which Brahma is sitting. We are within that stem. Whatever we see as expanse of space is within that stem of the lotus. And that end is called Lokaloka mountain. Actually, it is the walls of the stem of that lotus. Can't even imagine the lotus that big, and that is sprouting from the navel of Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. How big Garbhodakashaya Vishnu is actually. So it's very, very difficult to understand these things, you see. And next verse. You see here, Yasyam Shamshaha. Yasyam Shamshaha. Here you see next verse. Yasyam Shamshaha. Amsha means part. Amsha. Yasya Amsha. Yasyam Shamsha. Yasyam Shamsha. Yasyam Shamshaha Paratma Khilanam Poshta Vishnur Bhati Dugdhabdhishayi Kshauni Bharta Yat Kalasopyanantas Tam Shri Nityananda Ramam Prapadye. You see, Yasya, whose amshaha, a portion of a plenary portion, Paratma, the super soul. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, whose secondary part is the Vishnu lying in the ocean of milk. That Kshirodakashaya Vishnu is the super soul of all living entities and the maintainer of all the universes. Seshanag is his further sub part. See? This is the position of Nityananda Prabhu. Let's go back. In the 10th and 11th verses, Krishnadas Kaviraj describes Garbhodakasaya Vishnu and Kshirodakasaya Vishnu, successive plenary expansions of Mahavishnu. Brahma appears upon a lotus growing from the navel of Garbhodakasaya Vishnu, and within the stem of that lotus are so many planetary systems. Then Brahma creates the whole of human society, animal society, everything. Kshirodakashaya Vishnu lies on the ocean, the milk ocean within the universe. Where is the milk ocean within the universe? So there is this planet called the Shvetadvipa. The Shvetadvipa means an island. So a planet is also referred to as an island, because an island is a piece of land in the expanse of water, in the midst of an expanse of water. Now, why are these planets known as Dvipa? Because they are in the expanse, on the ocean of space. The space is also an ocean. And in that ocean of space, these planets are Dvipas or islands. So Shvetadvipa, there is a planet called Shvetadvipa, which is higher than even Lord Brahma's planet. Shveta means white. Shvetadvipa means white planet. Why is it white planet? Because of the ocean of milk that is there in the planet. And on that planet, the Lord resides as Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. Kshira means milk. Udaka means ocean. Shayi means one who lies down. So he lies down on the ocean of milk, and his expansion is the Paramatma, which is sitting in everyone's heart. The Paramatma who is sitting in everyone's heart is the expansion of Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. Kshirodakashaya Vishnu lies on the milk ocean within the universe, of which he is the controller and maintainer. Thus, Brahma is the creator, Vishnu is the maintainer, and when the time for annihilation arrives, Shiva will finish everything. In the first 11 verses of Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami thus discusses Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Sri Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Lord Nityananda as Balaram. So these are the 11 verses. So first 6 verses are about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the next 5 verses are about Nityananda Prabhu. So he discusses Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Sri Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Lord Nityananda as Balaram, the first expansion of Krishna. Then in the 12th and 13th verses, he describes Advaitacharya, 2 verses for Advaitacharya, who is another principal associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's and an incarnation of Mahavishnu. So let's look at the Advaitacharya verse, 2 verses. 12th verse. Mahavishnur jagat karta mayaya yah srijatyadaha tasyavatara evayam advaitacharya ishvaraha. Lord Advaitacharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu, whose main function is to create the cosmic world through the actions of Maya. Advaitam harina advaitad acharyam bhakti shamsanat bhaktavataram isham tam advaitacharyam ashraye. Because he is non-different from Hari, the Supreme Lord, he is called Advaita. And because he propagates the cult of devotion, he is called Acharya. He is the Lord and the incarnation of the Lord's devotee. Therefore, I take shelter of him. I expect all of you to know who is Advaita Acharya in the Panchatattva. Let me see if I can take out Okay, let's take this picture. I'll try to show it on the screen. Oh, that's so small. Okay, wait 1 second. Just give me some time. The resolution is bad. I'm not getting a very high quality image. That's what I'm looking for, a high quality image. Let's see if this works. This should probably work. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, here we go. So let's see if I can show this on the screen. Okay, here we go. There's a little bit of a distortion there, so maybe I will make it a square. I have to move a bit here. Okay, if I move myself here, now you see this. So we are talking about this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I think most of you already know, but just in case if somebody is watching this and they do not know whom we are talking about, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu in the blue, in the center is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the blue dhoti, blue dress is Nityananda Prabhu, and here on the far left is Advaita Acharya, whom we are learning that he is actually incarnation of Mahavishnu, Advaita Acharya, and this is in the red dhoti, he is Gadadhar Pandit, he is incarnation of Srimati Radharani, and this is Srivas on the far right, is incarnation of Narad Muni. So this is what we are trying to understand here. So coming back here, all right. So these are the descriptions of Advaita Acharya. So then in the 12th and 13th verses, he describes Advaita Acharya, who is another principal associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and an incarnation of Mahavishnu. Thus, Advaita Acharya is also the Lord, or more precisely, an expansion of the Lord. The word Advaita means non-dual, and his name is such because he is non-different from the Supreme Lord. He is also called Acharya, teacher, because he disseminated Krishna consciousness. In this way, he is just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Although Lord Chaitanya is Sri Krishna himself, he appeared as a devotee to teach people in general how to love Krishna. Similarly, although Advaita Acharya is the Lord, he appeared just to distribute the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Thus, he is also the Lord incarnated as a devotee. See, to reclaim us, the Lord is coming in so many features, so many ways, just to reclaim us. You see how he is merciful. He is coming personally down. In the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, Krishna is manifested in 5 different features known as the Pancha-tattva, to whom Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj offers his obeisances in the 14th verse of the Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Krishna and his associates appear as devotees of the Supreme Lord in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Advaita Acharya, Sri Gadadhar Prabhu and Sri Srivas Prabhu. In all cases, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the source of energy for all his devotees. Since this is the case, if we take shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for the successful execution of Krishna consciousness, we are sure to make progress. In a devotional song, Narottam Das Thakur sings, "My dear Lord Chaitanya, please have mercy upon me. There is no one who is as merciful as you. My plea is most urgent because your mission is to deliver all fallen souls and no one is more fallen than I. Therefore, I beg priority." Now, let's look at the 14th verse. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupasvarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakhyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. I offer my obeisances unto the Supreme Lord Krishna, who is non-different from his features as a devotee, devotional incarnation, devotional manifestation, pure devotee and devotional energy. So although these 5 things look like very similar, very closely related, they are, but actually they are also different aspects of devotion, bhakti. So they have incarnated as 5 persons like that to teach us. That is the Pancha Tattva. With verse 15, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami begins offering his obeisances directly to Krishna himself. Krishnadas Kaviraj was an inhabitant of Vrindavan and a great devotee. He had been living with his family in Katwa, a small town in the district of Burdwan in Bengal. He worshipped Radha Krishna with his family, and once, when there was some misunderstanding among his family members about devotional service, he was advised by Nityananda Prabhu in a dream to leave home and go to Vrindavan. Although he was very old, he started out that very night and went to live in Vrindavan. While he was there, he met some of the Goswamis, principal disciples of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was requested to write the Caitanya-caritāmṛta by the devotees of Vrindavan. Although he began this work at a very old age, by the grace of Lord Chaitanya, he finished it. Today it remains the most authoritative book on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy and life. So let's go to the 15th verse. (115) Jayatam suratau pangor mama mandamater gati matsarvasva padam bhojau radha madana mohanau. Glory to the all-merciful Radha and Madan Mohan. I am lame and ill-advised, yet they are my directors, and the lotus feet are everything to me. And this is a prayer to Radha Madan Mohan. So Madan Mohan is considered the presiding deity for the Sambandha Gyan. That means so Vedas are divided into 3 parts. The whole science of Krishna consciousness is divided into 3 parts: Sambandha, Abhidheya and Prayojana. Sambandha means the knowledge which establishes our relationship with Krishna. That is a Sambandha Gyan. And Abhidheya means the scriptural rules and regulations for execution of devotional service. And finally, Prayojana means the goal of devotional service, which is love of Godhead. So each of these aspects of Krishna consciousness, the Sambandha Gyan, the Abhidheya Gyan and the Prayojana Gyan, they have presiding deities. So Madan Mohan is the presiding deity for Sambandha Gyan. So this will more elaborately explain in the first chapter, actually verse 17 maybe? No, 7 or 20, something like that. The whole purport is very nice explanation is given, but for now we are just reading the introduction, so we'll go through it. As and when we are going through the verses, then we will go through the whole purport and understand that. Okay, 1 second. We will go back to the introduction of CC. So here when Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was living in Vrindavan, there were not very many temples. At that time, the 3 principal temples were those of Madan Mohan, Govindaji and Gopinath. As a resident of Vrindavan, Krishnadas Kaviraj offers his respects to the deities in these temples and requests God's favor. My progress in spiritual life is very slow, so I am asking your help. So this is how we have to also pray. They are teaching us how to pray to the Lord. We should pray to the Lord. Mama mandamater gati. Jayatam suratau pangor. Pangor means I am lame. I am very, very slow in this devotional service, in my spiritual progress. So I am mandamater gati. I am very dull intelligence. So mat sarvasya padam bhoja Radha Madan Mohan. Your lotus feet, Radha Madan Mohan, are everything to me. I need your mercy. So that is the whole prayer here. In the 15th verse of the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Krishna offers his obeisances to the Madan Mohan Vigraha. the deity who can help us progress in Krishna consciousness. In the execution of Krishna consciousness, our first business is to know Krishna and our relationship with him. To know Krishna is to know oneself, and to know oneself is to know one's relationship with Krishna. Since this relationship can be learned by worshipping the Madan Mohan Vigraha, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami first establishes his relationship with him. So, in our temple also the deities are called Radha, Madan Mohan. So, in this way, by why Madan Mohan, that will be explained in that purport I said in the, I think, 20th verse of the first Adilila, first chapter. We will learn more in that as we read that one. So, for now we will just accept, alright. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami first establishes his relationship with him. When this is established, in the 16th verse, Krishnadas offers his obeisances to the functional deity Govinda. This is the function, the devotional functions or the devotional activities that we need to do, the functions of a devotee. This is Abhidheya. That's why it's called functional deity. That means not that other deities are not functional. It's not like that. Because he is the presiding deity for the devotional functions or the devotional activities. Abhidheya. He is the Abhidheyadhideva. Govinda, Radha Govinda. So that verse is the next verse, 16th verse. So we will see the verse and come here back again. Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanasthau Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devau Preshthali Sevyamanav Smarami. In a temple of jewels in Vrindavan, underneath a desire tree, Sri Sri Radha Govinda, served by their most confidential associates, sit upon an effulgent throne. I offer my humble obeisances unto them. So this is his prayer to the Radha Govinda deity. This Radha Govinda deity is now in Jaipur actually. After the Mughal invasion, the deities were transported to Jaipur. And even now they are there. You can see, go and see Radha Govinda temple. Very beautiful deities. The Govinda deity is called the functional deity because he shows us how to serve Radha and Krishna. The Madan Mohan deity simply establishes that I am your eternal servant. With Govinda, however, there is actual acceptance of service. Govinda resides eternally in Vrindavan. In the spiritual world of Vrindavan, the buildings are made of touchstone. The cows are known as Surabhi cows, givers of abundant milk. And trees are known as wish-fulfilling trees, Kalpavriksha, Kalpadrumadha. For they yield whatever one desires. In Vrindavan, Krishna herds the Surabhi cows, and he is worshipped by hundreds and thousands of gopis, cowherd girls, who are all goddesses of fortune. This is explained in the Brahma Samhita. When Krishna descends to the material world, this same Vrindavan descends with him. Therefore, Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam. So this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy. We have to worship Krishna and his Vrindavan Dham equally, on an equal level. The same Vrindavan descends with him just as an entourage accompanies an important personage. Like when a president comes, his whole team comes with him. Like that, when Krishna comes, who is the president of the entire material and spiritual worlds, his whole team comes. All his devotees, everybody will come. In fact, there will be an advance party. Some of them come first, before even Krishna comes. Just like, when some important person is coming, his team members first go there and then make sure all the arrangements are properly laid out, and then the important personality will come out. So similarly, there is an advance party when Krishna comes. So that advance party, they become the parents of Krishna, they become the elders of Krishna in that incarnation, like Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda, Vasudeva, Devaki. So all of them were sent first. And after that Krishna came. And after Krishna, of course, there are others who will come in the whole drama that Krishna enacts here in this material world. For the deliverance of conditioned souls, he has all these schedules. Okay, you go this time, There's a full plan. You see? So, understanding that, now one is considered to exist. Okay. Because when Krishna comes, his land also comes. Vrindavan is considered to exist beyond the material world. Therefore, devotees take shelter of the Vrindavan in India, for it is considered to be a replica of the original Vrindavan. Although one may complain that no Kalpavriksha wish fulfilling trees exist there, when the Goswamis were there, Kalpavriksha were present. It is not that one can simply go to such a tree and make demands. The desire fulfilling, wish fulfilling tree means the trees, they fulfill any wish. Now, Prabhupada is saying that although one may complain that no Kalpavriksha, wish fulfilling trees exist there, when the Goswamis were there, Kalpavriksha were present. But it is not that one can simply go to such a tree and make demands. Go to one tree and ask all kinds of, hey, I want this, I want that. Go to one tree and like a madman, like a stupid fellow, ask the tree so many things. No, one must first become a devotee. Because the wish fulfilling tree will give everything that can be used in Krishna's service. Not whatever we want, So it is not that one can simply go to such a tree and make demands. One must first become a devotee. The Goswamis would live under a tree for one night only, and the trees would satisfy all their desires. For the common man, this may all seem very wonderful, but as one makes progress in devotional service, all this can be realized. Even Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote this Navadvip Bhava Taranga and Navadvip Dham Mahatmya. Therein, he describes a very opulent garden called Ishodhyan, the Lord's garden, Ishodhyan. So he describes Navadvip as this very grand, huge garden, beautiful garden with so many things there. He describes in great detail. But actually, if we go to Navadvip, we will just find one hut. And of course, now there are many pilgrims. At that time, there was just like one cottage and that's it. But now there are pilgrims going, but still we can't fathom the explanations that are given by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We cannot see such things. These are only seen by the perfected devotees. They can actually see the real Vrindavan. Kabe hame herabo Shri Vrindavan. That song is there by Narottam Das Thakur. If Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoibe Akuti, if the Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Goswami give me mercy, then I will be able to see Vrindavan with these two eyes. So that means now when we see Vrindavan, we don't really see the real Vrindavan because of our material contamination. We may commit offenses. Oh, Vrindavan is a dirty place. Actually, these are all offensive mentalities. So only those who are pure in spiritual realization, they can actually understand that Vrindavan is everywhere. In fact, Prabhupada saw it like that. Everywhere is Vrindavan. They are always in Vrindavan. They are never out of Vrindavan at all. 1 second. I'm just trying to make it even. Okay, so that's how we should understand. For the common man, all this may seem very wonderful, but as one makes progress in devotional service, all this can be realized. And we cannot imitate these things at this point. Not even in the near future. Not even in the far future. And even if we can see, we should not, hey, you know what, I see. That means that's a sign that the person is not seeing. A real person who is seeing, he will not speak like that. There are signs and symptoms. We cannot imitate one aspect of devotional service and then fake the other and then try to live. Because one day the fake is going to come out. So, better we stick to our own status wherever we are and sincerely make progress. Not trying to imitate, yeah, Prabhu, I saw actually the garden, I saw this, I had this vision. Well, keep it to yourself. In fact, there was one one person told Prabhupada like this, Prabhupada, when I'm chanting Hare Krishna, I'm seeing this very bright light, I'm seeing this very bright light. Then Prabhupada said, you chant more, the light will go away. Prabhupada was so sharp, At the same time, he was mild, he did not really chastise the person. He said, oh, you see like that? Oh, okay. You chant more, and the light will go away. So these are not the real things about chanting. Chanting means one must actually become a proper devotee. That is what is needed. All these miracle things, these will be revealed when one is actually perfect. So until then, we follow the Vaidhi Bhakti and understand that these things are there. The real Vrindavan, actually, whatever is Vrindavan on earth is actually the replica of Vrindavan in the Golok Vrindavan. But at the same time, we are unable to fully comprehend it, even hardly any comprehension about it at all. And we should go with just an attitude of respect for the whole place, and even the temple should be considered the same. So like that we have to understand. That's why if we don't consider like this, we will commit dham aparadha. That means offense to the holy place. Whether it be the temple is also non-different from Vrindavan. So the temple or the holy place of Vrindavan in India, all these are spiritual places. We cannot consider them as ordinary places. They are not. Vrindavan is actually experienced as it is by persons who have stopped trying to derive pleasure from material enjoyment. This is important. When will my mind become cleansed of all hankering for material enjoyment, so I will be able to see Vrindavan? One great devotee asks. Actually, this is by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. In that Kabe habe bolo she din amar, Kabe habe bolo she din amar. So that's a very beautiful song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. In that song, he sings like that. When will my mind become cleansed of all hankering for material enjoyment, and so I will be able to see Vrindavan? The more Krishna conscious we become and the more we advance, the more everything is revealed as spiritual. In fact, for the pure devotee, there is no material world. He does not see the material world at all. He sees only the spiritual world. How is that? Because as much as we awaken our devotional consciousness, therefore, the pure devotee does not even ask that, take me back to the spiritual world. He is already in the spiritual world. Jivan Mukta. So as one progresses in devotional service, then one sees that nothing is actually material. Everything is spiritual, because he sees the Lord in everything. Thus, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami considered the Vrindavan in India to be as good as the Vrindavan in the spiritual sky, and in the 16th verse of Caitanya-caritāmṛta, he describes Radharani and Krishna as seated beneath a wish-fulfilling tree in Vrindavan on a throne decorated with valuable jewels. There, Krishna's dear gopi friends serve Radha and Krishna by singing, dancing, offering betel nuts and refreshments, and decorating the lordships with flowers. Even today in India, people decorate swinging thrones and recreate this scene during the month of July-August. Generally, at that time, people go to Vrindavan to offer their respects to the deities there. So let's see that verse. Adi 1, I think 16. No, 17. Oh, well, this is 16th only. Okay. All right. Finally, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami offers his blessings to his readers in the name of the Gopinath deity, who is Krishna as master and proprietor of the gopis. When Krishna played upon his flute, all the gopis or cowherd girls were attracted by the sound and left their household duties, and when they came to him, he danced with them. These activities are all described in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. These gopis were childhood friends of Krishna, and many were married, for in India the girls are generally married by the age of 12. It's a very scientific system, in fact. Nowadays they think, what, 12? But actually it's a very, very scientific system. Because the girl's psychology is fixed. Okay, this is my man. And that's it. There is no trying out. No. Nowadays, they're trying out and they're having sex at that time. They're having sex with boys here and there and using contraceptives and aborting the children like that. So many sinful activities are going on because the girl is not married at that time. There's a proper method. Once they attain puberty, they are married. In fact, sometimes even before puberty. So that when the puberty happens, okay, they are given to the husband. And Prabhupada's mother became a mother when she was 14 years old. 14 years old. Even Prabhupada, when he married, his wife was only 11 years old and he was 21 years old. You see? So these is actually very, very orderly system, but nowadays it is considered child marriage because it was also abused and a lot of nonsense has happened in the name of child marriage. But if it is done properly, it is very, very scientific and very stable social structure that way. Anyway, so these gopis were childhood friends of Krishna and many were married, for in India the girls are generally married by the age of 12. The boys, however, are not married before 18. So Krishna, who was 15 or 16 at the time, was not married. So another example is Abhimanyu, who died in the battle of Kurukshetra, Arjuna's son. He was only 16 years old and he died, but his wife was pregnant. He was married very early at the age of 15 and his wife was definitely maybe 11, 12, something like that. And his wife was pregnant when he was fighting as a 16-year-old boy in the Kurukshetra war, and he died. And his wife was a widow at the age of maybe 12, 13, around there. And she was pregnant with the son of Abhimanyu. So these things were there. But generally, as Prabhupada says here, boys, they were not married before 18. So Krishna, who was 15 or 16 at the time, was not married. Nonetheless, he called these girls from their homes and invited them to dance with him. That dance is called the Raslila dance, and it is the most elevated of all the Vrindavan pastimes. Krishna is therefore called Gopinath because he is the beloved master of the gopis. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami petitions the blessings of Lord Gopinath. May that Gopinath, the master of the gopis, Krishna, bless you. May you become blessed by Gopinath. The author of the Caitanya-caritāmṛta prays that just as Krishna attracted the gopis by the sweet sound of his flute, he will also attract the reader's mind by that transcendental vibration. So that is the 17th verse. Shriman Rasarasarambhi Vamsi Vatatatastithah Karshan Venusvanair Gopir Gopinath Shriyastunaha. Srila Gopinath, who originated the transcendental mellow of the Rasa dance, stands on the shore in Vamshivata and attracts the attention of the cowherd damsels with the sound of his celebrated flute. May they all confer upon us their benediction. That means Krishna and all the gopis together. And then starts the whole Caitanya-caritāmṛta in that way. So that is the end of the introduction of Caitanya-caritāmṛta. So we would like to stop here for today. So firstly, he is offering all these prayers, before he starts. And then he is starting the whole explanation of Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Alright, we will go through all those explanations from the next Caitanya-caritāmṛta session, which is, today is what? Today is Saturday. So on Tuesday we will continue Caitanya-caritāmṛta again, and there we will start from chapter 1 of Adi Leela. So let's take questions now. Wow, 33 questions? Really? Okay. This is actually yesterday's question of Gergely Sabados. So yeah, yesterday Gergely Sabados from Hungary has given his question. He clarified his question, and I did answer him on a private message actually. So I will not go through that again today. So Sunita Sharma. Okay, this question I have already answered. Next question by Krishna Priya Mataji. Why is that, Prabhuji, when we focus candlelight we can see ourselves, and how is that possible? Is it a God creation? Well, I don't know. When we focus candlelight we can see ourselves. Is that true? I don't see. No, we are talking about candle as we are describing Vishnu Tattva, not exactly the candle. This is an example to describe Vishnu Tattva. That's from the Brahma Samhita. It's not exactly related with this. So, anyway, I'll go to the next question. By Krishna Priya Mataji again. Why is that there are no Lord Vishnu temples? Where? It's there. They're there everywhere. In fact, even outside India, they're there. Angkor Wat, in Cambodia, Thailand, Indonesia. In India, of course, we have so many Vishnu temples, but even outside India. And now with this Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Next question by Bhakti Rajanya. Is Kepler's laws of planetary motion right according to Vedas? Well, I'm not very much conversant with the Kepler's laws, but I don't care, because if his doesn't match with the Vedic descriptions, then he is wrong. And you may read the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam and see if they match with Kepler's laws. I don't know what Kepler's laws are. I have never studied them. Next question. By Gergely Sabados. That is new for me. So Rama is not referred to Radhanath. Sri Krishna is the Mahamantra. Or how is that actually? Well, yeah, Rama is referring to Balram, but there is no difference between Balram and Ramachandra. Ajanya Mataji, what she's saying? Kepler's first law, other two law explained in mathematical way. I am asking about first law. It states that each planet moves through ellipse shaped path, and Sun is situated in one of the focus of the ellipse shaped path. Is it right according to Vedas? The Sun also moves actually in its own orbit at the speed of 16,000 kilometers a second, and this elliptical motion, no, it's not exactly the same way. You can actually read the Srimad Bhagavatam, you will have a little bit better understanding, but I'm telling you, you will not have a full understanding of it, because it's not really that easy to understand. Right? Krishna Priya Mataji, do Lord Vishnu enjoy sleep for 6 years and after that he wakes up? No, he's always sleeping. In Yoga Nidra, he's always sleeping. And he's breathing and the universes are coming out. And where did you find the 6 years? No. Or are you asking about Kshirodakashaya Vishnu? I don't know. I need more context. But anyway, whether he sleeps or wakes up, it's the same, because we have a difference in our sleeping state and waking state, but for the Lord, there's no difference between his sleeping and waking. That's what we have to understand. He's absolute. We have these dualities, but the Lord doesn't. Next, question by Venkatesh, Bhakta Venkatesh. Here in our spiritual science also we have things like age of this universe, age of demigods, etc. How do we prove to them which is beyond our imagination also? No, we can prove to them where they are wrong. And once that is established that they are wrong and we are right, especially about the science of the soul and these kind of things, then they have to accept the Vedic authority. And once they accept, they have to accept the other things that the Vedas also say, which is beyond our experimental jurisdiction. So first, faith in the Vedas has to be inculcated into the people, especially the so-called scientific community. And if we can prove simple things like life, for example, and not only in scientific way, but also how we can have solutions for all kinds of problems in this world, whether they are scientific puzzles, or whether they are mathematical puzzles, or whether they are political problems or puzzles. In any case, Krishna consciousness has an answer to everything. So if somehow or other the intelligentsia of the world, the intelligent section of the population, understand that Krishna consciousness is the solution for any problem, then we can have them accept other things that the Vedas say, which is way beyond our comprehension. Next question by Gargali Sabados. What is needed to preach to such scientists? Yes, so what is first needed is our absolute unshakable faith in our Vedas. That's the first thing. Because usually what I see, sometimes devotees try to explain to these scientists in seemingly ways that they can possibly understand, but in that they make a lot of compromise in their own way of explanation and the whole presentation, and in that way the whole thing is like diluted, and sometimes these devotees also sometimes conform to the so-called scientific terminology that they use, and also the concepts of thinking that they have. We should understand that whatever is the way of thinking is wrong, and that we should prove to them. So first thing first is absolute faith in our own Vedic literature. Before we even go further and trying to convince them, we should be convinced, and we should not try to equate our Vedic knowledge with the so-called scientific community's knowledge. Like, for example, if the scientists say something, we should not try to prove from Vedas that yes, actually, you know what, we also have the same thing. Sometimes it may match, but it is not that we are trying to fight for attention. Hey, you know what? Hey, I also know this. Then if you know this, then why you did not say it before than us? Oh, that time I was not thinking about it. No, that's foolishness. So our thing is, whatever the scientists say, they may or may not be correct, but our Vedas are always correct. So with that understanding and conviction, we have to approach preaching to the scientists. And actually, Srila Prabhupada started an institution called Bhaktivedanta Institute, BI, in which he wanted the devotees to preach to the scientific community, but now the BI is practically dead. Nothing much is happening there. They're not really challenging all this in scientists and all that. It's pretty much dead. So we need to kind of revive all these dynamic preaching methods that Prabhupada actually introduced. We need to challenge them. We cannot stay just silent and be unnoticed by the public. We need to be noticed by the public. The public should notice us for the very strong, not opinions, I would say, strong messages that we put out, with full conviction. It's not that we are just suggesting that this may be true or suggesting them to explore this. No, this is actually truth. And when we present it with a conviction, just like Prabhupada presented it, and he had some disciples who were scientists, right? How did they join? How were they convinced? Of course, it is not that we have to convince every single scientist. No, the conviction, whether they will be convinced or not, that depends on their piety. So we should not overly think of, hey, this person is not accepting, so I will change my explanation in a way that to suit his understanding a little bit and try to slowly bring him. No, we will preach just like the scientists talk so many things, but it is free. We have free will whether we want to accept that or not. So they also have free will, but we have to speak the truth, and those who are intelligent, those who are fortunate, they will accept. Why Prabhupada wanted to preach to the scientists? Because they are one of the leaders of society. Political leaders are there, and there are other celebrities who are also considered leaders, but also scientists. And people believe what a scientist says. So just like, for example, George Harrison, he was a musician and he was a leader of the society because he has so many fans all over the world. And when he sang Hare Krishna, the Hare Krishna became a household word on the planet. So similarly, the scientists are the leaders for nerds, so to speak. So for those who are scientific minded, who are more that kind of studious people, for them scientists are, wow, they revere the scientists. Wow, I also want to be like him. I want to be like an Albert Einstein, or maybe Abdul Kalam, or any Newton, or whoever it may be. So these leaders in different departments of knowledge and social structure, they are looked up to, and they are the ones who are creating the textbooks, mind you. The scientists are creating the textbooks of science, and people, we have believed the Big Bang theory in our childhood because these scientists have put that in the textbook, although it was a nonsense theory. But we were made to believe as if it was fact. So, if these people can be convinced about Krishna consciousness, then hopefully it will have ripple effect, and the expansion of Krishna consciousness can happen on an even wider scale. You see, so that's the whole point. So that's the whole understanding in that. Next question by Bhaktin Puja. But according to Vedic knowledge, this universe is more older than modern science. Yes, far more older. And when the universe was created, the science of the universe also was given to us, the Vedas. It's just that nowadays in Kali Yuga, they don't refer to these Vedic scriptures, and therefore they have imperfect knowledge of everything. Next question, Krishna Priya Mataji. But why sun god not let us to see him? I mean, is he punished to be so hot? No. We are punished. He is not punished. And he is not punished to be so hot. Those who are punished to be burned, they will be in hell. They will be cooked in boiling oil and they will be put in fire. That is hellish punishment. Sun god is not going through hell, He is one of the heavenly planets. In fact, it is the beginning of the heavenly realm. Svargaloka starts from the orbit of the sun, and all the planets above it are all Svargaloka. So he is not punished. In fact, he is so powerful that by his heat and light, everything is running. The whole planets are running here. The whole planet is being maintained because of the sunlight. The question of why we cannot see him is because we are unqualified to see. When Yudhishthir Maharaj performed the Rajasuya sacrifice 5,000 years ago, he invited all these devatas to come down, and they came down. The devatas are very high class people, They won't come to a low class place. But because Yudhishthir Maharaj was a pure devotee, he was as good as, or even greater than, actually he was greater than the devatas, because Krishna was his personal associate. And so they considered themselves inferior to Yudhishthir Maharaj, although he was on the earth. So you have to understand that we have to have some qualification. Okay, for example, now you are, I'm guessing you are an Indian, maybe you are not. Suppose you are an Indian, and do you expect the Prime Minister to, show up at your door? No. Or whichever country you are from. So the Prime Minister won't come to your door. No. Why should he come? You cannot say why I can't see the Prime Minister. Is he punished that he cannot he cannot be here and he's only very far away? No, not he is punished. We are punished. We are unqualified to see him. If we have some good qualification, we can meet the Prime Minister face to face. If we did something good for the society, and the Prime Minister wants to recognize us and give us an award, yes, then we can see. But if I did not do anything substantial, then why should I expect Sun God to come and listen to me and come in front of me and say, hello madam, I am here? No, he is not our servant, right? So we are punished. And for him, the temperature is not hot. For us, that temperature is unbearable. We will die. Even 1,000th of such a temperature is death for us. But for him, it's just normal life. It's just life for him. And there are full-blown civilization, far more advanced than the earth civilization, is there on the sun. And Krishna spoke there to the sun god. So how are all these possible? Because we are calculating those life according to what we are facing here. For us, such high temperatures are unbearable. But there it is not unbearable. It is just normal life for them. In fact, they are enjoying far, far more than on the earth. Next question by Bhaktin Puja. How time traveling can be explained spiritually? Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to go explain the whole time now. You can go and read this. In the third canto, there is the 11th chapter, I think. You see this? Srimad Bhagavatam, canto 3, chapter 11. Calculation of time from the atom. From the atomic time to the cosmic time. The whole, everything about time is in that chapter actually. In briefly, of course, there is much more nuance, much more detail that it can be expanded upon, but this is like a overview of that whole calculation of time from the atom. Canto 3, chapter 11 of Srimad Bhagavatam. You can go and read it for your information. Next question by Bhaktin Vanajakshi. One should receive knowledge from Krishna and from Acharyas in our disciplic succession. Prabhuji, how about studying of Upanishads? At least 10 principal Upanishads. Not needed. I mean, whatever Prabhupada has given us is enough for our devotional growth. It's not about reading many scriptures. It is reading fewer scriptures given especially by the spiritual master and reading them thoroughly. We will go to this. It's a good question. We will go to this. Caitanya-caritāmṛta Madhya Lila. It is not that if you read many scriptures you will have more knowledge. No, that's not the case. It's a faulty conclusion. Shrutayo vibhinna. Okay, first actually, let us do something else. I'll show you this verse. Tarko pratishtha shrutayo vibhinna. Tarko pratishtha. Okay, Madhya Lila 17.186. Tarko pratishtha shrutayo vibhinna nasa vrishiryasya matam na bhinnam dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajano yena gatah sapantha. You see this shrutayo vibhinna? What does that mean? Shrutaya means Vedas, vibhinna means possessing different departments. Now, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, dry arguments are inconclusive. A great personality whose opinion does not differ from others is not considered a great sage. Simply by studying the Vedas, which are variegated, one cannot come to the right path by which religious principles are understood. The solid truth of religious principles is hidden in the heart of an unadulterated, self-realized person. Consequently, as the Shastras confirm, one should accept whatever progressive path the Mahajans advocate. So, whatever is there in the 10 Mukhya Upanishads are already there in Bhagavad Gita. Sarvo Upanishado Gavo Dogdhago Palanandanaha Partho Vatsaha Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gītāmṛtam Mahat. So, Gita Upanishad, it is also Upanishad. In fact, it is the king of all Upanishads. If all the Upanishads are like the cow, Dugdham, this Gita, Bhagavad Gita is the milk of that. Sarvo Upanishado Gavo. And Gopalanandana, he is the Gopal, the caretaker of the cows. He is milking this cow of the Upanishads and giving us the essence of all these Upanishads in the form of Gita Upanishad. So, if we understand Bhagavad Gita, if we understand the Srimad Bhagavatam, and if we understand Caitanya-caritāmṛta and Nectar of Devotion, enough. Every knowledge of every scripture is there in these books. Okay. Let's go to this verse now. It's a very important point to note. See, there is another verse in the Bhagavatam, but this is from the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, 22.118 in Madhya Lila. We are concerned about this line, the second line. Bahu grantha kalabhyasa vyakhyan varjiva. One should not partially study many scriptures just to be able to give references and expand explanations. You see? You see, this paragraph. One should not partially study a book just to pose oneself as a great scholar by being able to refer to scriptures. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we have therefore limited our study of the Vedic literatures to the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Caitanya-caritāmṛta and Bhakti-rasamrita Sindhu. These 4 works are sufficient for preaching purposes. They are adequate for the understanding of the philosophy and the spreading of missionary activities all over the world. If one studies a particular book, he must do so thoroughly. That is the principle. By thoroughly studying a limited number of books, one can understand the philosophy. Not by spreading ourselves thin and just like superficial understanding of many books. Better than that is deep understanding of these few books, which are basically the essence of all other books. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, I think 1:1:2, I think. You see, Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kim va Parairishvaraha. That means This beautiful Bhagavatam compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in his maturity is sufficient in itself for God realization. What is the need of any other scripture? And in the Gita Mahatmya also, Shankaracharya says the same thing. He says, Gita Dhyayana Shilasya. What is it? No, not that verse. Gita Shastramidam Punyam Yapathet Prayatah Puman Vishnur mixing up two words. Vishnu Padam Avapnoti Bhaya Shokadivarjitah Gita Dhyayana Shilasya. What is that? Gita Dhyayana Shilasya. Every day I chant this. Forget. Okay, let's see. Gita Dhyayana Pranayama Parasya Cha. Gita Dhyayana Shilasya Pranayama Parasya Cha. Here. Okay. Naiva santihi papani purvajanma kritani cha. I'm actually looking for this verse. Yes, in the fourth verse. Gita sugita kartavya kimanyaihi shastra vistaraihi yasvayam padmanabhasya mukha padmad vinisrita. Kimanyaihi shastra vistaraihi. There in the Bhagavatam, Kim va parairishvaraha. What is the need of any other scripture? So here it is said, Gita sugita kartavya kimanyaihi shastra vistaraihi. Because Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one need not read any other Vedic literature. One need only attentively and regularly hear and read Bhagavad Gita. In the present age, people are so absorbed in mundane activities that it is not possible for them to read all the Vedic literatures. But this is not necessary. This one book, Bhagavad Gita, will suffice because it is the essence of all Vedic literatures, and especially because it is spoken by Supreme Personality of Godhead. Gita Mahatmya 4. So, we have Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Nectar of Devotion. These, actually, if we really go through the purports and try to understand, how much information is there in just these 4 books and the Nectar of Instruction to add to that. There's so much information that we don't really need to go to any other place. It's not that we're not saying we should not read. Prabhupada also did not say we should not read. But did we really read Prabhupada's books first in its entirety and scrutinizingly? So if we actually read like that, in fact in the purports, so many references to many other scriptures are mentioned, and especially in context. So when we learn in depth, we will understand that this is a huge treasure house, what Prabhupada left. So let's read that, and that's why we are going, in sequence. Why? Because we're trying to just understand every single thing that Prabhupada is saying. They may not be fancy, like some people want to do, this, Prabhu, do a series on this, series on that. So many requests I got actually. I also want to do series, it's not that I don't want. But I feel we have to understand Bhagavad Gita first, very nicely. And Caitanya-caritāmṛta we have started because we haven't had classes on Caitanya-caritāmṛta, and therefore we are trying to understand these things. Alright, so next, Bhakti Najanya. Our souls exist in sun. I think we have repeated that many times. Yes. Full civilizations exist on sun. Every single planet is as congested as this planet. Nitya sarvagata sthanur achaloyam sanatanaha. This is explained in the 2nd chapter, 24th verse of Bhagavad Gita. So everywhere the souls are there. Those lives on the sun spiritually, are they souls only or body with soul? Body with soul. They have a body suitable to live there. We are also souls. We have a body. We have an earthly body. So this body can survive on the earth comfortably. But you put it in another atmosphere, it will not be comfortable, but they can be comfortable on the sun. They have a body suitable to live there. They have bodies made of fire, fiery bodies. That's why for them living on the sun is not a problem. Ajinya asking, I am asking because scriptures says sun as God. Souls will be seen in planets only. Is it right? See, sun is not God. Surya Bhagavan means it is not like Surya is Bhagavan, but he is the sun god, the president of the sun planet, basically. And souls will be seen in planets only. Yeah, he is on a planet. So he is on the planet of the sun. What we see is the sun planet in the sky, and then he is inside that planet as the president of the planet. So sun is not planet according to scripture. Puja Mataji. Sun is a planet and is the king of all planets. Raja samasta suramurti rashesha teja. Raja samasta suramurti rashesha teja. It is the king of all planets. Next, question by Sharanam Ramprasad. In the spiritual world, Lord Sri Krishna works with time there. Is that a question or what is that? There is no time in the spiritual world. There is time, but it does not have the force that it has here. In fact, it is said, therefore, Brahma Samhita 5:56. Especially here. Nimeshardhakhyo va vrajati nahi yatrapi samayah. Nimesha ardha. Nimesha means one moment. Ardha means half. Even half a moment. Va vrajati nahi yatrapi samayah. In the spiritual world, not even half a moment passes. It means there is no time there. Everything is present tense. Bhaje Shvetadvipam tamaham iha golokamitiyam vidantaste santakshiti viralachara katipaye. You see in the translation, where there is eternal existence of transcendental time, who is ever present and without past or future, and hence is not subject to the quality of passing away even for the space of half a moment. There is time there. That's why there is Ashtakaliya Leela, the 8 different kinds of Leelas, pastimes the Radha and Krishna have throughout the day. So Kala, Ashtakaliya Leela means, the Kala, time is there. So, but here it says not even half a moment passes, because there is a transcendental time, which is not like here. Here it just passes without stop. There it doesn't. It is completely free will. If they want night suddenly, it will happen. If they just suddenly want, let's have sunrise just for, maybe it's afternoon, but they want sunrise. It will happen. So like that, whatever they want, they can just adjust the time. Similarly, Krishna adjusted the time. Even in this material world, they danced for one night, Krishna and the gopis. But although it was one human night, one earthly night, they actually danced for one night of Brahma, which is 4.32 billion years. They danced for that long, the Ras Leela. But it was compressed to one night. So therefore, sometimes, people think, Krishna was with the gopis only like until 11, 12 years old, and after that the whole life he was, in the Dwaraka and all that. Actually, if you calculate that one night Rasa dance, Ras Leela, 4.32 billion years he spent here, and then 100 years he spent in the Dwaraka. Just imagine how much actually they spent with Krishna. So, Krishna has complete control over time and space. Because there were millions and millions and trillions and gazillions of cows that Krishna had. Do you know? We'll go to this CC Madhya. We are trying to understand Krishna according to our experience. That's the problem. He's way beyond. We can't even imagine what he can do. Because there are sometimes descriptions of cowherd boys. There are millions and trillions of cowherd boys in the Rasa dance. Also, there were millions of girls, gopis, and there were trillions and trillions of cows. People think, come on, how to even fit all these things on earth, let alone Vrindavan. So, let's see what. According to Sri C. Madhya 21:19, according to Sukadeva Goswami, Krishna had unlimited calves and cowherd boys with him. No one can count their actual number. Each of the cowherd boys was tending calves to the extent of a koti, arbuda, shankha and padma. That is the way of counting. You see, each cowherd boy, and millions of cowherd boys were there, mind you. Each cowherd boy was tending calves to the extent of a koti, arbuda, shankha, padma. That is the way of counting. See, according to Vedic mathematical calculations, the following enumeration system is used: units, tens, dasha, hundreds, shata, thousands, sahasra, 10,000s, ayuta, and 100,000s, laksha. 10 times laksha is niyuta, 10 times niyuta is koti, 10 times koti is arbuda, 10 times arbuda is vrinda, 10 times vrinda is kharva, 10 times kharva is nikharva, 10 times nikharva is shankha, 10 times shankha is padma, and 10 times padma is sagara. 10 times sagara is antya, and 10 times antya is madhya, and 10 times madhya is parardha. Each item is 10 times greater than the previous one. Thus, all the cowherd boys who were companions of Krishna had many calves to take care of. Vetra, Venu, Dala, Shringa, Vastra, Alankar, Gopa, Ganer, Jata, Tar, Nahi, Lekha, Par. All the cowherd boys had unlimited calves. Similarly, their canes, flutes, lotus flowers, horns, garments and ornaments were all unlimited. They cannot be limited by writing about them. The previous verse was Eka Eka Gopa Kare Jai Vatsa Charan Koti Arbuda Shanka Padma Tahar Ganan. Sabe Hoila Chaturbhuj Vaikunther Pati Prithak Prithak Brahmander Brahma Kare Stuti. So this is again, of course, the more another story. But the point is, you see how many cows they had. The limit of space and time does not exist in the spiritual world. Therefore, we cannot really understand the extent of Krishna. Next question. By Bhakta Venkatesh. In Tulsi Maharani's story, at one point we discussed about Lord of the Rings also in some universe sometime could have happened. What? Nothing in our mind comes to creation of Lord. Then Harry Potter also not myth accordingly? No, it's a myth. It's a myth. But the ideas that they get it, the ideas that they have, like all this magic and all this kind of ashtasiddhi and all this yogic perfections or magical perfections, these are there. The sages in the upper planetary systems and demigods even, they can do many things like this. So those ideas they have, they cannot have an idea which is not there in the Lord. But they make a story which is just like, their own creation. But such Siddhaloka, in Siddhaloka planet, everybody is born with the 8 perfections, yogic, mystic perfections, and those perfections are more than this Harry Potter stuff. Harry Potter is nothing compared to all those Siddhaloka inhabitants. Somagiri Prabhu, today works well. I mean the background effect. Actually not really well because I did not put the light far enough from the backtop screen, and therefore it kind of, let me see if we can, I don't know, let's see if, okay, yeah, now it's proper. You see, I'm here and I can show the picture here. This is because now the whole screen behind me is green in color, but a while ago it was not completely green because the position of the light behind me is not proper. Anyway, I don't know if you understand what I'm talking about, because you need to know the setup, how I actually set up this whole thing so that I can do these things. So anyway, now it works fine. Okay, next question. Krishna Priya Mataji, can you show Milk Ocean picture? As if we have a photo of the Milk Ocean. I don't have. Let's see if we have a painting of it. Milk Ocean. Let's see if we have something. I mean, you can always Google and see if you want. Well, here is something, but the resolution is not as good. But we will see if we can Okay. Whoa, I have gone somewhere far out. Okay, here. Okay, let's see. You see this? So, Lord Narayana with Lakshmi is right here, and you see on the big, this Seshanag, huge snake with thousands of hoods, and the demigods, as you can see, they are all offering prayers. You can see Lord Shiva as well. You can see on the far left, Lord Shiva. So he is there, and Brahma is also there, and all the demigods. They are at the shore of the milk ocean and offering these prayers to the Lord. And you know, the ocean of the milk ocean is so vast, and the waves hit the rock of the the snake, you know, the Anantasesh, and he's like a mountain. He's like a mountain, and Nagachalendra Sthita. This is actually stated in the Mukundamala Stotra. Nagachalendra Sthita. Nagachala means, Achal means mountain. Nagachalendra Sthita. So he is situated on this top of this mountain-like serpent, this Anantasesh. And another nice verse from Mukundamala Stotra. Kshira Sagara Taranga Shikara. Kshira Sagara Taranga Shikara Saratar Kita Charu Murtaye. Bhogi Bhoga Shayaniya Shayine Madhavaya Madhu Vidvishe Nama. This is the 50th verse of the Mukundamala Stotra. Obeisances to Lord Madhava, enemy of the Madhu demon. His beautiful. Oh, sorry. I need to show you the screen, right? See? Obeisances to Lord Madhava, enemy of the Madhu demon. His beautiful form lying on the couch of the serpent Ananta is speckled by the shower of spray from the milk ocean's waves. See, he's lying on the couch of serpent Ananta, is speckled by the shower of spray from the milk ocean's waves. When the waves hit the rock, when the ocean hits the rock at the shore, and then the whole water sprays like that, the milk sprays like that, and then in the fine droplets, the Lord is bathed with those droplets of milk. So that picture is being seen by King Kulashekara, and he is describing in this verse. And the other verse, which is Nagachalendra Sthita, is the 34th verse of the Mukundamala Stotra. Chetas chintaya kirtaya swarasane namri bhavatvam shiro hastavanjali samputam rachayatam vandasva dirgham vapu atman samshraya pundarika nayanam nagachalendra sthitam dhanyam punyatamam tadeva paramam daivam hi satsiddhaye. O mind, think of the lotus-eyed Lord who reclines on the mountain-like serpent Ananta. Mountain-like serpent. O tongue, glorify him. O head, bow down to him. O hands, join your palms in supplication to him. O body, offer outstretched obeisances to him. O heart, take full shelter of him. That Supreme Lord is the topmost deity. It is He alone who is all auspicious and supremely purifying. He alone who awards eternal perfection. So that is the picture of the milk ocean. Om Tad Vishno Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Surayah. Sada Pashyanti Surayah. The devotees and the demigods, they are always seeing the Lord, and this is how they see the Lord. They go to the milk ocean and they see the Lord like this. Alright, coming back to our world. Gargali Sabados. The basic question would be about tasting the same again and again. How do these things come up, and how do these relate to the original's taste? What is that? I don't understand again the question. Tasting the same thing, same again and again. How do these things come up, and how do these relate to the original's taste? I need more context. Honestly, your questions are the most complicated sometimes. Okay, next question by Bhakti Najanya. Why we can't directly worship Krishna idol? What will happen to such persons who make garland and lamb directly to Krishna? Here, a lot of people decorating Krishna idol and offering lambs directly. They are non-veg and they read Bhagavatam monthly. What is the result of such worship? Will they go to hell? I said to them, it is not right thing being non-veg and direct offering of lamp and garland, but they neglect. What will be the result of such worship? See, these people are not. Okay, well, we will go to this verse first and we'll come back to the explanation. Srimad Bhagavatam 7, 14, 40. ततोर्चायां हरिं केचित् संश्रद्धाय सपर्यया उपासत उपास्तापि नार्थधा पुरुषद्विषाम्. Sometimes a neophyte devotee offers all the paraphernalia for worshipping the Lord, and he factually worships the Lord as the deity, but because he is envious of the authorized devotees of Lord Vishnu, the Lord is never satisfied with his devotional service. So we have to do deity worship in accordance with Shruti Smriti Purana Adi Pancharatriki Vidhim Vina Aikantiki Harer Bhaktir Utpataya Eva Kalpate. Shruti Smriti Puranadi. Oh. Shruti Smriti. You see, devotional service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic literatures like the Upanishads, Puranas, and Narada Pancharatra is simply an unnecessary disturbance in society. So, they don't know what they're doing, and you don't tell them that, okay, this is not the way to be done. You just tell them that, oh, good that you are worshipping Krishna. Okay, now read this book also. These are his words, and try to distribute one book, at least a small book, and try to. Once they start reading, then with the knowledge, then all these things can be solved. We just simply say that you are doing wrong. Yes, everybody is doing wrong. Everybody in this material world is doing wrong. The first thing he has to be shown is, the Harinam, the chanting, and the what is that? Especially the Prabhupada's books, the knowledge, and then they will awaken to reality. Just like you were eating meat before, and now you stop. So why? Because of knowledge. So knowledge is important. Next question. I still question how to relate to that level. What level? Yeah, so I've already just explained that. So we give them books, just talk to them a little bit. You like Krishna? Oh, that's very good, So Krishna's words is here, Bhagavad Gita. Let's study the Bhagavad Gita, You should also become expert now. You should climb to the next higher stage. Encourage them and then get them to read books. Nabajit, Bhakta Nabajit. Hare Krishna Prabhu, we would like to take initiation under ISKM. Please help conditioned souls like us. Jai, Hari Bol. Very good decision. Srila Prabhupada will be very pleased with your commitment. So yeah, we will keep in touch, and we will make sure that you get ready for initiation and be initiated. So we can do all this. We will privately discuss, and we can see what else needs to be done on this. So it's very nice that you have understood the Ritvik system. In fact, for all of you who do not know, I just want to announce that Bhakta Nabajit was and his wife Madhumita Mataji. So Nabajit Prabhu and Madhumita Mataji, they are actually from Gujarat, India, and they were with ISKCON, and they were trying to get initiated by Bhakti Charu Swami, and they took the ISKCON disciples course. Everybody who gets initiated in ISKCON has to go through this course, and part of the course material is about Ritvik system and why it is wrong. And because of that, they started to research about what is Ritvik system, and they went on Google and on YouTube and they searched, and our video came out and the whole training backfired, and then they understood the Ritvik system. And Sundar Gopal Prabhu's video, that 3 years old video about Ritvik systems, that came out, and they watched and they were very, wow, this is something new. And then they did more research and they went through our 5-part Ritvik series, and they were completely convinced now, and now they've accepted Srila Prabhupada as the spiritual master, and now they want to take initiation. So this is a very, very successful story of a of course it's just the beginning. Initiation is just the beginning, but it's still how they have been saved. And therefore, please share these videos with others. Please share, because now you're watching it and you're benefiting from this. But if you share these things with others, then more and more people need to see this. People need to see that's why we are doing these lectures, so that people can see that ISKM is not just people have is especially ISKCON devotees, they have a very wrong idea of Ritviks, and actually partially true, because some of the Ritviks, they just engage in blaspheming and just talking everything negative about ISKCON, and they think that is a great service by itself. But no, the real thing is we have to show the alternative, the actual alternative that really Prabhupada wanted ISKCON to be run. How Prabhupada wanted ISKCON to be run, we need to run that, and that's what we're trying to establish here at ISKM. And therefore, it is not just we will just have some talk about these ISKCON gurus and just find fault with them. That's not our thing. We are actually trying to establish this. So our even these lectures or whatever, we're trying to share knowledge, pure knowledge of Prabhupada from his books, as you can see. So if these can be shared, and along with the Ritvik system webinars and everything, all these, if these material can be shared more and more, if all of you can become ambassadors of ISKM and spread this, the sooner we will see Srila Prabhupada as the sole Diksha Guru of ISKCON. It should not be just in our minds. In our mind we are thinking Srila Prabhupada is the sole Diksha Guru of ISKCON, and he is the real Diksha Guru and everything. It just should not remain in our minds. Each of us must work together and share this as far and wide as possible, so that we can quickly realize that in reality it should not just exist in our mind. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Prithivite acha jata nagaradigram sarvatra prachar hoiva mor naam. It's a nice poetic thing to be, have this meditation that, how nice it would be if, Krishna consciousness is on every single town and village, in every single town and village of the planet. But actually to quickly realize that's something Prabhupada showed us, to work towards it and, do the field work of preaching. So, to share these things. In fact, we are making these small videos. Of course, the books are always there. Links are there. You can read online, or you can purchase a book from your nearby ISKCON temple. You get the books, and if you want, lectures, or you want to attend lectures, you can always attend these classes that we are holding. And there are many people, just like you have become successful in this. You have understood these things. There are so many people out there who are looking for answers. They don't have answers and they are stressed out, especially about this guru system and how to progress in their devotional life. Many people in ISKCON are like this, and this is being brainwashed, saying that Ritviks are demons, like that. But there is no concrete showing of evidence and everything properly. So we are trying to do that, and we should reach out to all those people. So we need to try to expand this and share this. So that's my humble request. Share not only the Ritvik videos also, but even the others, because sometimes they don't immediately listen to, they're talking about Ritvik, I don't want to listen. But if it is just about some Krishna conscious topic, Bhagavad Gita lecture or Caitanya-caritāmṛta or something like that, or a Bhagavatam, they may listen first, and then they may have a what is that called, they may build a rapport with the person, and then slowly then we can introduce also this Ritvik system. So it is not a trap. It's just that we're just showing the alternative. Well, not alternative, the actual thing that Prabhupada wanted us to follow. So yeah, that's a very nice story of Nabhajit, Bhakta Nabhajit and his wife. Next, Gargali Sabados. All base on earth, you mean? On earth, the basic element is earth. Elsewhere else? Yes. On earth, the prominent element is earth. On the sun, the prominent element is fire. And like for example, water. In water, there are so many living entities who are living in the water. They have a body suitable to live there. So every atmosphere, the bodies will be suitable for living there. They will have suitable bodies. In fact, according to the atmosphere, our body was made. We think, scientists, there was one statement I read where it said that the scientists say that the earth, if it was a little 1 degree or 2 degrees even warmer, the whole thing would have been blazing by now, the compound effect of that heat. And if it is just like a little bit cooler, what they said was the distance. If the earth was a little bit nearer to the sun, no life would have existed, and if the earth was a little bit farther away from the sun, no life would have existed. It is just in that perfect balance. Actually, they do not know that this was completely not a fluke at all. This was because the earth is in that distance from the sun, therefore the bodies were made so that they can live on that atmosphere. It's not just like out of like sheer chance, earth was just like, the right distance from the sun. No, it was never by chance. It was by design. And the it's not that the planets which are farther away from the sun, they are so unfortunate that they don't have life. No, they have life. They have bodies which can live there in that conditions. Nitya sarvagata sthanur. Everywhere the souls are there. So in relation to Bhakti Puja, biologically it is life threatening regarding child marriage, danger to female life. Not really. I mean, there were so many before which happened. It's not that immediately after, of course, the child must, the girl must develop a little bit more, but it is not that it is life threatening really. Because then the whole reproductory organs start, and that has been our Vedic system. It is not life threatening. Of course, it's not that when the child is still like, not even properly nutrition, no proper nutrition, and then child married. No, of course the child must, the girl must grow up a little bit and get some strength. Of course, it is not that abuse the child, abuse the girl, not at all. It is actually to protect the girl from all these, sexual affairs with boys. And boys, they will take advantage of these girls, especially in the teenage years. The girls want to experiment with their bodies, the boys want to experiment with their bodies, and they try to have sex, and this is very, very loose society. And therefore, because they've already tasted sex and they've tasted with many men or one man with many women, they don't take relationships seriously anymore. And when marriage actually happens, each of them, the husband and wife, they already had relationship with so many men and women, and then when they come together, they just treat it as another relationship, and then eventually it will break also. And that is happening so much today. The divorce rates are increasing so much because it's all a wrong society actually. Anyway, it is very difficult to even bring back all the rules, but at least as far as possible, the girl must be quickly married within the laws of the country, and so that there will be peace in society. Alright, so next question. Even here, some Brahmins are non-veg who doing puja in the temples, some pujaris who is doing puja in the temples once in a month. They will be vegetarian only 2 days before and that day only. Is their puja effective? No, not effective. First of all, puja has to be done through the spiritual master. Can't independently just worship Krishna. Krishna says, in the Adi Purana actually, quoted in the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, but as you can see here, we cannot serve him without serving the pure devotee. Ye me bhakta jana partham, na me bhaktash te jana, yamad bhaktanam cha ye bhaktas, te me bhakta tamamataha. Lord Krishna told Arjuna, those who are my direct devotees are actually not my devotees, but those who are the devotees of my servant are actually my devotees. So first we have to surrender to Adav Gurvashrayam. We have to surrender to the Guru first, and then yes, Krishna will accept any of our offerings. Next question by Gargali Sabada. So on scientists, that question I had and you answered, Prabhu, is that why the false religionists are not to be searched out? I always don't understand your questions. And you answer, Prabhu, is that why the false religionists are not to be searched out? What does that mean? Maybe somebody can help me with this understanding. What is this? Oh, there's one question I missed. Okay. Even darkness also from Krishna only, right? Then how we call darkness means not relation to him. Just that it's Maya and indirectly related, right? Yeah. It's indirectly related. Darkness is related to light. It is just the non-manifestation of light or absence of light. Next question by Bhaktin Puja. This also I missed. Is this material knowledge also given by Krishna? Is it pre-planned by Krishna who gets how much material knowledge? Yeah. It's not that Krishna gave us the material knowledge because he wanted to give us, because we wanted to be materially engrossed, and that's why he's giving us facility. All right, you have this material knowledge and be engrossed. So like that, everything is given by Krishna according to our desires. Next, where? Next question. Actually, is preaching to the false religionists problematic? Because there is possibility of offenses or something? Not really. We have to speak against them also. We have to show that they are bogus, false religionists. Because we have to show the correct path. And correct path means we should also show what is not correct. So sometimes, just like Prabhupada also, he spoke about deviant philosophies or bogus philosophies and educated us that why this is bogus and what actually the Vedas say about it. So we need to know what is correct and what is wrong. See, there's no offenses in that. It's just that we need to know how to do it carefully. Next, Parshuram Prabhu. Sunlight is spread all the planets above Earth. What about lower planets? Actually, sunlight doesn't reach the lower planets, subterranean heavenly planets. The sunlight doesn't reach there. And in fact, in one of the planets, Rasatal, this is in Nagaloka, where sunlight does not at all reach. It's completely pitch dark always. The only light, but the planet is fully bright. You know why? Because the snakes. The planet is full of snakes, and the jewels on their heads, they light up the entire planet by their jewels. That explanation is also there. Milk Ocean. Deepa Mataji is asking, can you share this picture? I want to show it to my daughter. Milk Ocean. Okay. What I will do is I will copy the link. Alright. I'll paste it in the live stream. I think it should appear in a while there. Yeah, Milk Ocean. There's a link there. You can see that. Next question. What is that? Next question by Vrajikishore Prabhu. But it is mentioned in the first chapter of Krishna book that neither the demigods nor Lord Brahma can directly see the Lord, right? That is also there. That is also there. Usually, the demigods submit their plea to Brahma, and Brahma goes to the Milk Ocean and he actually prays to the Lord, and the Lord speaks to him, and then he speaks to the demigods. But if the Lord wants to show himself, then yes. In fact, that's why that Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Surya. So the Suras, they always see. So there are probably after he's, again maybe I'm speculating, after he's satisfied with the prayers of the demigods, he might show. I'm trying to see if there is a shore of the Milk Ocean. One 11.8. When Brahmaji and other demigods want to consult Lord Vishnu, the plenary portion of Lord Krishna, they have to wait on the shore of the ocean of milk, where Lord Vishnu is lying on the white land, Shvetadvipa. This ocean of milk and the Shvetadvipa planet are the replica of Vaikuntha within the universe. Neither Brahmaji nor the demigods like Indra can enter into this island of Shvetadvipa, but they can stand on the shore of the ocean of milk and transmit their message to Lord Vishnu, known as Kshirodakasaya Vishnu. Therefore, the Lord is rarely seen by them, but the inhabitants of Dwaraka, because of their being pure devotees without any tinge of the material contamination of fruitive activities and empiric philosophical speculation, can see him face to face by the grace of the Lord. So, very rarely they actually see the Lord, usually not seen, and they have to wait at the shore of the ocean of milk. So, this is how it is explained here. Next question by Sunita Sharma Mataji. Is idol a wrong term to use for bona fide deities? Because in the West it is used to describe false god. Yeah, this is not just idol. No. Deity. Deity is what we use. Because deity is Archa Vigraha, Archa Murti, Archa Avatara. Is actually an incarnation of the Lord to enable us to serve him. So idol, yeah. Sometimes idols are used in, but especially Prabhupada, he used always the word deity for that reason, because of the respect. Idol means it's just like some something which is just like a stone. A deity means Krishna. Gergely Sabados clarified his question. So, in the material world, we taste again and again the same taste. The original taste is from the rasa with God. What is the connection between the original rasa and material rasa? Okay. Okay, the thing is, here everything is through the body. We want to be the enjoyer. We have switched our positions. We are supposed to be cooperating with Krishna's enjoyment, and thus we also enjoy. But if we try to be the enjoyer, then we will be frustrated. So we are trying to have all those relationships, but with an imperfect master, because we have rejected Krishna. But the tendency to have relationships that cannot be taken away from us, and therefore we are reposing these relationships with imperfect masters, and that's what causing the inebriety or the imperfection in the relationships. So it is expressed through this body, through the senses, and to another body of another person. So if the same things is done in pure love of Krishna, that will be totally different. But here it is lust. We want to enjoy. It is like this: a woman in her natural condition, she is to be enjoyed by the man, and by cooperating with his enjoyment, by letting him enjoy her, she can also enjoy with him in sexual intercourse. But if the woman now tries to be a man, like nowadays they do sometimes, this lesbian or something like this, they want to be a man, and they can't enjoy. Their organ is made differently, So similarly, our constitutional position is to be enjoyed by Krishna, and in that enjoyment of Krishna, we also enjoy while enjoying with him. We being female, and he being the only male. But now we are trying to be the male and have the relationship. So that's why it is failing. It'll end in frustration. There will be no, just like when a woman and woman so-called have some, I don't know how they have sex, but whatever they do, there is no issue. There is no child. There is no prayojana. Similarly, the prayojan is love of Godhead. So that doesn't happen if we reject God, and we, that happiness which was gotten by Krishna Bhakti is not gotten with any relationship in this material world, because it's a false. We are identifying ourselves in a wrong manner. So we have to play the part of the female, the Prakriti, and be enjoyed by Krishna. We have to offer ourselves for Krishna's enjoyment. Now we want to be the enjoyer. We want to be the male. That's our problem. So if we just change this, then that will be spiritual rasa. Otherwise, we'll always try to, there will be no child. You see? So that is the point. So similarly, when we enjoy ourselves, there will be no enjoyment on our own. But if we cooperate with Krishna's enjoyment, yes, then we can have enjoyment. That's why he is called Govinda, giver of pleasure to the senses. But he will only give when we serve his senses. Then our senses will be satisfied. Next question by Bhakta Virendra. Does Kshirodakasaya Vishnu exist on every Svetadvipa planet in each material universe created by Garbhodakasaya Vishnu? question is wrong. Universe is not created by Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. Universe is created by Karanodakashaya Vishnu, and in each universe he expands himself as Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. And yes, in every single universe there is a Shvetadvipa, and Kshirodakashaya Vishnu is there in each and every single universe. Next question by Gargali Sabadas. Prabhu, when should we make effort to try to do or do not preach to false religionists? No, we try to encourage them. We don't, if they argue, then we have to argue a bit, but then if they are not going to change, we just leave it. But if somehow or other they can be given a book, that is the best preaching. So try to distribute books to them, and that way when they hear from Prabhupada, then they will understand. Alright, I think that brings us to the end of the session. What is the time? Oh wow, 3 hours. So there is some quote here from 8.5.25. So it is said that when Brahma and the other demigods go to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Shvetadvipa, they cannot directly see him, but their prayers are heard by the Lord and the needful action is taken. So that is also there. Oh, Madhumita Mataji has written something. Thank you very much for your detailed lectures today. What position we are in, it is by the grace and teachings of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada. His valuable messages through his books are shading away the thick covers of our ignorance layer by layer and step by step in our lives. Srila Prabhupada's contribution of knowledge Vedic Shastra is actually a powerful defense of not getting puzzled or persuaded by false information from others. Yeah, it's a very nice realization. For those of you who do not know, this is Bhaktan Abhijit and Bhaktin Madhumita. And we request all the Vaishnavas to bless them so that they can become nice disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Alright, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Caitanya-caritāmṛta ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Sri Gaur-Nitāy Bhagavan ki jai. Pancha-tattva ki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Yuga-dharma Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai. Nitāy Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.